What's up, y'all? Y'all already know what this is. This is Deem. I am your host, Deem, by any means. Let's talk about it, y'all. Boxing 2024, what we doing? Boxing is in a great state right now, y'all. Boxing is popping right now. Boxing is leaving the year with a bang. Shout out to Ryan Garcia for last night putting on a great performance, getting Oscar Duarte out of here and really holding it down. And yeah, man, we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to talk about, man. But the main thing I want to just, really talk about is 2024. What we doing in the boxing thing? We got the 130 division that's pretty okay. We got Monster NOA out here about to try to go for undisputed for the second time. We got the 135 division that is on fire. We got the 140 division that is on fire. We got 154 that's in a pretty good place right now. It potentially will be on fire. The 160 division, a lot of good prospects, but not too much going on there. Then you got the 168 division that is completely on fire. So it's an open panel. Everybody, there go the link. So when everybody want to hop up, you could just hop up and we're going to chop up this boxing, man. But like I said, I will say this, man. We are in for a great year for 2024. Got the light heavyweight division that's okay. The heavyweight division about to put on at the end of the month. So we got a lot to talk about, y'all. But I truly, truly think that next year could really not make or break boxing. Yeah, I say it could make or break boxing. And hey, 2 cents. What's the deal? What's the deal? 2 cents. Much appreciated you coming in. But yeah, 2024 could make or break boxing in a good way too, though. Like I said, if it's anything like 2023, but I expect better because I think they stumbled upon something when in 2023. I made a video a couple days ago about how Ryan Garcia and Gervontadavis has changed boxing for the better. Because if you've noticed, ever since that fight, we have been getting a snowball of big fights and plans and network deals and all types of stuff. So you said since 2023 was cool. Too many fantasy fights though. Yes. And I'm tired of that 2 cents. I'm tired of the fantasy fights. And that's why I'm sitting up here talking about this today. Because 2024, if it could be more of a banger than 2023, then I truly believe 2025 will really skyrocket this sport exactly where it needs to be. Like I said, man, I love boxing. And I just love that we have a lot of prospects. I'm a little upset with the heavyweight division. I believe that's the last missing piece to get boxing back to where it really, really needs to be. Because I think without some great heavyweight prospects, we'll never really see the potential of where boxing could be at in modern day time. And I believe I believe if the heavyweight division was anything like the 135 division, it'd be fireworks. Because I think that a lot of people, we didn't take advantage of it when the heavyweight division was popping, when Klitschko and Joshua and Wilder and all of that was just first starting. They took too long to make fights. They BS too much, and Tyson Fury was coming in, and they didn't make the fights then to boost the heavyweight division. A lot of them fights we should have been got already, like a long time ago. They shouldn't even have got this far with it. 2 cents say they got to get Tyson Fury out the heavyweight division. To a certain extent, I agree, because with Tyson is just like this. He's a great fighter. He's great competition at that division. The problem with Tyson is just too much of the other bozo stuff that come with him. You don't know if he's going to be a diva today. You don't know if he's really coming to fight today. You don't know if he's doing this for publicity stunts. You don't know what Tyson Fury you're going to receive whenever you watching a Tyson Fury fight. And I think that has harmed Tyson Fury also. So, man, we just got to get this sport back to really where it need to be. Because if we don't, then 2013 would just be null and void. It would just be a blip in time. And that's not what I want. And I truly believe that these networks and the YouTube streets and the boxers, they are starting to see that we aren't, especially after the Shakur Stevenson thing. People ain't willing to pay. People have never really been this vocal about not wanting to pay for fights and not wanting to be involved with the sport of boxing if they're not going to give us what we want. It's a reason why Canelo has never been under this much pressure. Canelo has been under pressure, but he's never been under this much pressure. Two Cent says, Wilder made the heavyweight division exciting, and it ain't been the same since he was cheated. Now they blackballing him, and if we're going to be honest, the heavyweight division is just a plain boring. Usyk and Fury. I mean, you know what's so crazy about that is that these people, like I said, the heavyweight division, they did it to themselves, and they really did blackball Deontay Wilder. And I keep telling y'all that it has more to do with who Deontay Wilder is, and not so much what he does in the ring. People don't like a strong black man, and they very intimidated by somebody like that stand on a square. I didn't like when Deontay Wilder was blaming the weight vest and got mad at his corner and all that. I didn't like none of that. But the one part that I will acknowledge when it comes to Deontay is that he's a very humble guy, that he is good for that heavyweight division. He actually brings to the division what people want to see from that division, and he's not even the biggest guy there. That counts for something. They don't like a guy who stands on the square, says how he feel, win, lose, or draw. So, and you got to look at his competition. It's not enough prospects in that division. And then the prospects that we do get, they get knocked out or lose a little stamina before their name can get out there. So the heavyweight division is really, yeah. Two Cents, I feel you. It was just propaganda, like real rap. Like that's why I was so mad at him. Don't even say nothing about that, because they already looking for anything. They already happy that you lost. So don't give them nothing to even say after that. Like the same thing Shakur Stevenson doing. Like, and the thing is, he won. You would think Shakur Stevenson lost that fight the way he is moving out here in these streets, man. You would think De Los Santos won and Shakur Stevenson lost the way he is moving out here in these streets. And I got a video coming up on that a little later today. But 2024, we really need some great, great, great events that keep the YouTube streets popping, that keep everybody interested, that keep everybody involved, because that's the only way that boxing is going to be exactly where we need to be. You seen what Ryan Garcia did. You see what Tank is doing. When you put pressure, yeah, 2 Cents, I agree. 140 going to be lit. When you put pressure on these promoters and these networks to make the fights happen, to once the fighters show them that the fighters understand that they are the A side now. We always talk about A side, B side when it comes to fighters, but fighters are starting to show that they're the A side to these promotional companies and to these networks. And the only way for the networks to get their bread and be able to pay the fighters the amount of money that they want to get paid, they got to put on big fights. Because as you've seen with Shakur Stevenson, I have never seen people be this vocal about a product that they didn't like since Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. And we all know that was mostly because Manny Pacquiao had a lot of fans and they was making a lot of excuses. But we haven't seen this in a long time. And like I said, y'all, it's an open panel. If y'all want to come, chop it up with your boy, the link is right there in the chat. You feel what I'm saying? So, come chop it up with your boy, man. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me what y'all feeling as far as the year 2024. But the thing that I do know is that if we don't get this thing on the head and continue to keep playing our part and making these videos and putting pressure on the fighters and make sure that we hold the fighters accountable, then that's going to make them hold themselves accountable, understand they worth. Listen, people want to see me fight X, Y, and Z, but I need a certain amount of bread to fight X, Y, and Z because I done put in a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? And Sense, what's going on?
What
How
up?
you?
What up? What's going on?
How's everything? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just hopping around these YouTube streets today looking for some boxing talk.
Oh, I already know. That's why I went live and because Sundays be a little dull. So 2 cents. I'm trying to find a sweet spot because we support a lot of people and I don't want to crowd what anybody else is doing or they think we jacking their style or anything like that. So just trying to find a niche out here, and I really appreciate what you doing out here because, like I told you the other day, females being having a talking point and having a voice in these YouTube streets is ultra important and is very important to what we're talking about today, which is boxing in 2024.
Yeah. Let
So
me let
give
me go
me
out and come right back in. I gotta
oh
fix my mic.
no problem, no problem. But yeah, y'all, Bullet, my guy, man, Bullet, if you free, Perel, if you free. Like I said, it's open panel today. Anybody want to come up? The link is in the chat. I think it's pinned in there, so y'all should be good. And come chop it up to me. Talk to me about your favorite fighter, what you would like for them to do, what you think boxing need as a whole for the sport to keep continuing and going forward. Because we could talk about who like who don't like who, all this, that, and the third. But the one thing that we can't deny is that we all love this thing that we call boxing, and that 2023 was a beautiful, beautiful year. One of the best years we probably done had in the last 15 years of boxing, 20 years of boxing. So we just got to make sure that we doing our part to make sure that we getting that they hear us loud and clearly, that we're screaming from the top of the mountains what we do want to see and what we don't want to see. Shout out to my guy Chris Trucker. So 2 cents, talk to me as far as your perspective on 2024, 2023. Talk to me about your favorite fighters and what you'll like to see from them, and what do you think that boxing needs to implement to continue to have the great success that we having right now.
Well, I think 2024, 2023 was a good year, right? I think it could have been a better year. I'm gonna be honest with you. If the Spence Crawford fight would have went better, I think that would have just took boxing to the top, right? The build up for that fight, the anticipation for that fight, I've never felt that way before a fight. And it was an awesome experience. But at the same time, I've never felt that way after a fight. But that was a decent fight. It just really didn't live up to the hype. It wasn't as competitive as people wanted it to be. Now, my only thing with boxing this year was I feel like they tried to kind of be kind of gimmicky with the marketing, and I think maybe they were trying to compete with the boxing YouTube space because those fighters over there are making more than people that's boxing and doing this their whole life because of the fact that they got a following and they're able to market to their audience. The fight that really kind of irritated me the most this year was the Charlo versus Canelo fight. And I got the marketing of it, the undisputed versus undisputed. But anybody that knows boxing knows that that fight just wasn't going to be nothing, right? And I mean, you had Jamel Charlo moving up two weight classes, long layoff, and an injury. And I just really feel like Canelo shouldn't have even took that fight. Like him being a professional, him being undisputed, like he should have been like, no, I don't want that fight. And to me, that was the most disappointing fight, and not necessarily just because of how Jermel performed, just because they even made the fight. Like, come on, guys, this fight don't even make no sense. But the undisputed sounded good. But I think the boxing world realized that the marketing and all of that is good, and you can get people's interest. But once you produce that product and it doesn't look how we want it to look, there's going to be a problem, and there's going to be some backlash. And I know Jamel ate a lot of that backlash, but if you ask me, a lot of the backlash should have fell on whoever idea that was to make that fight and Canelo for even taking that fight. And that's the same thing that Shakur is experiencing, in my opinion, because he's marketing himself in a certain way. And then when it was time to present the product, he did the complete opposite. And so I just hope for in 2024 that whatever is being marketed when it's time to execute the product, that is what is being presented. That's what I would hope for 2024. The excitement to the fights were good, the thoughts of the fight were good, but when they produced the actual product of some of these fights, it just didn't live up to the hype.
Hey, 2 cents. I truly believe that if the Jermel Charlo and Canelo went better, the Bud Crawford and Spence thing went better, that boxing would be even further than where it is already, and we got it on fire. But the thing that I do like though, 2 cents, is that they made the fights happen. And then now, since everybody is shouting at the top of the mountain as far as the Jermell fight, like you was talking about, the Spence and Bud fight, Shakur Stevenson, I truly believe now it has put pressure on everybody that is making these fights happen. You know the main reason why? Because now Showtime done went out of business. Now they got a
Yeah.
whole new network that they are trying to launch with boxing. So now you have no choice but to give us bangers. So I think that we have really cornered as far as doing what we doing on these YouTube streets, as far as the boxers, people like Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia showing that boxing can still produce a lot of numbers if you give the right product. And I think that now, like you see what Bud Crawford is talking about, he just want to make all the big fights. That's all everybody is talking about because they see the performances and see the result that you get when you put on great performances. And let's be real, y'all. Everybody trying to get the word Tank and Canelo at. And Amazon Prime and all of them, they gonna want bangers and people to not only launch their boxing thing, but to sustain it, to sustain the success going into next year and the year after and the year after. So, Bullet, talk to me, man. How you feel about 2024, 2023, and what you think boxing needs to do to keep the sport to have a better year than we had even this year?
Man, you already know. First off, I'm gonna say salute the Dean, salute the 2 cents, salute to
Appreciate you.
everybody in the
Salute,
chat, man.
salute.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna get my guy out the way real quick. You know what I'm saying? The guy that my favorite fighter. When I say my guy, I'm talking about my favorite fighter. But like Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying? Just he had a hell of a year. He had a hell of a year. He set the 130 division on the right track, put everything in the right space of where it needs to continue to grow. And leave my phone alone, baby. Go to the room, watch SpongeBob. My fault. Um, he did everything he needed to do to put boxing and the 135 division in a good place. You know what I'm saying? Now with the other guys, the other hold on, go ahead, Chris. My daughter crying. Hold on one second.
Let
Kurt,
me say this too real quick. As far as like the 135 division, and hopefully maybe we can get something like this at every division. I really like what Devin Haney did for the 135 division, fighting for the belts, fighting for the legacy. And I also like what Tank was doing for the 135 division, giving the entertaining fights, getting the knockouts, fighting the dangerous fights, things like that. Like I like how they had those two different lanes rocking in the 135 division. You get what I'm saying? I know a lot of people wanted them to fight each other, but like I always say, you cannot hold these fighters to standards that they're not holding themselves to. Um, Devin holding himself to a standard of being a champion and getting belts, and Tank is holding himself to a standard of being an entertainer and making a lot of money. So if we can kind of get that cracking, something like that in the 140 division, something like that in the 147 division, just to continuously always have some entertaining fights going on. And I do understand that fighters want to make the biggest fights and this and that, but at the same time, because that can kind of be a double-edged sword. At the same time, you cannot not let that be reasons you're not fighting people, right? Because you only want to make the big fight. Sometimes the big fights aren't available, but in addition to those big fights, there are also other competitive fights that people would like to see you in.
now I agree. 2 cents. You basically saying, let's say if we don't get a Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, but I would definitely, if I can't get that, then definitely fight a De Los Santos or a Raymond Matala, Abdullah Mason, somebody like that may not have the biggest name, but the boxing community would appreciate the fight, even though he doesn't have the biggest name. And I totally agree. Got to give a shout out to Devin Haney to a certain extent as far as what he doing with Regis Prograve. Yeah, he didn't make whatever you feel about him not making the fight with Tank and Ariel and Shakur and all that stuff. Not really talking about that right now, but him going to fight Regis is still a good fight. So I agree completely as far as where you coming from when it comes to that. Trucker, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? Talk to me, man. What you think as far as the year we had, what you think boxing need to do to implement um to get the sport going forward, and how you see 2024 going. Talk to me.
What's up? What's up? Can you hear me good, Dean?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. You cool?
Yeah, man. I'm out here trucking, man. Just staying entertained, talking boxing with y'all while I'm at work. You know, um, as a boxing fan, I just want to see good fights. You get what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I like two cents, like I like the build up and that adrenaline when it's a such a good juicy fight coming on. You get what I'm saying? Like a fight I really want to see. I like that more than like the belts and all that type of stuff. See, the thing is, because boxing is the wild wild west. It's not regulated like other sports. You get what I'm saying? So us as boxing fans, we just take what we can get, and then they pretty much don't. The belt is so many belts, and there's so many sanctioning bodies, and there's so many ranking systems that the belt can't do what it's supposed to do. The belts is supposed to make you a Tank Davis. It's supposed to make you Canelo Alvarez. So we can have great fights after that. So people can fight to be in that position. But when you got four of those belts and you can get all four of them for beating a guy like Cambosis, it diminishes it. Because it's like you can brag about it, like, yeah, I got belts merely, but you didn't beat a guy that we wanted to see you fight for the belts. We want to see Devin versus Tank. I don't care if it wasn't a Gucci belt involved. You get what I'm saying? I don't care. I just want to see the fight. You know what I'm saying? So my thing for 2024, man, I just want to see good fights, man. You know what I mean? Belts, yeah, belts have their place, but I know that I'm just dreaming when I say this. You know what I mean? I'm dreaming when I say this. If you only had one belts, then the belts would actually do what they're supposed to do, which is give us the belts are supposed to be a reason for us to get the fights that we want. But instead, the belts are strategies. It's used to, you know what I mean? People use the belts. I'm not talking about Devin, I'm just saying in general. People use the belts to hold up the division. People use the belt. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not used for what it's supposed to be used for. You get what I'm saying? So
Yo, Chris, I
this year
agree,
was a
man.
decent year.
I agree, bro. I want to give a shout out to my bro Drizzy. For people that don't know, my man Drizzy, man, we was over there in the battle rap scene heavy. You know what I'm saying? Doing the similar things that we doing now. This my bro. He part of the motivation to get me to do what I'm doing right now, y'all. One of the people that was rocking with me when he ain't have to, just off of me being thorough. The same reasons why y'all rock with me. But Drizzy, I will say this. Tank over everybody, and you already know that. Don't come in here starting your dumb stuff. You already know. Tank over everybody. He's knocking the heads off. He gonna have them rolling. He gonna have them making excuses after every fight, like the rest of them do. As long as y'all know. But
Listen,
like I
man.
said,
Tank,
Chris, to
go
be
ahead.
honest, bro, on your point, that's wishful thinking. But I also feel like this, yo. If we don't these boxers are in a position now, and I want to say thanks to Shakur Stevenson, because after that fight, my man Drizzy is in the chat. Go check out No Bluffing Podcast. Everybody, if you listening to me, go over to No Bluffing Podcast, a great sports podcast with my man Drizzy. He hosted him and his man's real NFL players, really chopping it up, talking about the business. But even they made a video talking about Shakur Stevenson. We are not paying for that. And that's just look, my guy Driz. What up, Driz?
What it do, Dean? My brother.
How you doing, sir, man? How you doing? How's everything, man?
I'm good. Everything good. What's up to the panel? What's up to the panel?
What's up,
Everybody.
Driz? What's up,
Salute,
man? Nice to
salute.
meet you,
What's
man.
good with you, family?
What's
Hey,
up?
let me
Nice.
go after him, Dean. Let me finish after him.
I got you. Look, man, I was just saying this. When we going into 2024, I think these boxers are really in the because y'all got to understand now they trying to launch a whole nother network. If y'all think Amazon is going to take on anything and not be able to get their bread, It just don't work like that. Like that's not going to happen. So I believe that these boxers are now in the corner and the promotional companies where they got to give us what we want. Drizzy, how you feel about that? How you feel about boxing in 2023, and what you think boxing need to do going forward to have 2024 be a better year? Talk to me.
I mean, I think Showtime, bro. Showtime leaving boxing says a lot, bro. Like that says a lot. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like the fighters got to start being more active. We got too many fighters taking these long layoffs and then coming back, doing all these tune-up fights, not fighting the best. The best need to fight the best, bro, and the big fights need to happen. I think at this point, the fans and these, let's be real, bro. These pay-per-views getting high as shit. These pay-per-views ain't $30 no more, bro. These pay-per-views $85. Like, bro, y'all gotta actually start fighting the people. We want to see, not 4 and 5 years later and making us wait around. Like, bro, the fans are not like Shakur, bro. We're not paying for that. And now it's to the point where the fans are speaking out so much that when you do something like what Shakur pulled, now Grant, he said it was injury, whatever, but when you pull something like that, bro, we're not like the next one gotta be free. Now you got the next one gotta be free. We're not paying for the next one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like y'all gotta start giving us exciting fights versus the people we want to see, bro. Like, and that's just that.
Drizzy, listen, bro. I agree with you completely. Hey, Bullet, I want you to know this, bro, because I want you to get your bars off. My man Drizzy, he support Devin Haney too. I've been arguing about Tank way before y'all done know me. I keep it 100 all the way around the board. Go ahead, Bullet.
I'm gonna be in the building for Haney Prograde, man. Dev, I went to Regis Prograde training a week, man, maybe about 10 days ago. I went to his sparring session.
Okay.
He look all right, but he ain't got the feet. He don't got the feet to catch up with that.
Well,
Yo, that's
how
what
he
I
was
said,
looking? How
Driz.
he was looking at that sparring session? Let
He
me
looked,
get a review.
he looked. I mean, he got pop. He got power. I just don't think he got the feet to keep up with the movement of Dev. See, Loma was able to really get in Dev ass because Loma got great feet.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't have feet like that.
I mean, Devin's feet ain't that great if we honest.
Shit, but they way
But
fast.
compared to Regis, yeah, that was my biggest thing, Driz. That's why I got Devin winning that fight, just strictly off of that alone. But we go and see, because Regis looked a little good when he was hitting the mats, man. He looked a little strong, you know. So we go and see. I know this though,
See the
Driz.
difference. See the
Devin,
Dean, the
hold
difference
on,
with you.
Chris.
My
I
bad,
know
my
this
bad.
though, Driz. Devin better not do what Shakur Stevens did after all that talk that they was talking.
Dev
I
actually
know that.
tried to hit the opponent. Like, that shit had me hot. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
But Bullet, talk to me, man. What's the deal, baby?
Chris was going to say something real quick because I probably got a long soliloquy. I'm gonna
Go
let him
ahead,
say what he's
Chris.
going to
Nah,
say real
nah,
quick.
I was saying, see, Devin don't really got the fastest feet, but see, Devin, he getting his head out the center line. He getting out of there, bro.
Mhm.
He gonna bend his knees. He gonna bend his knees and he gonna get his head off that line, and he gonna get out of there. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, Regis ain't. That's my thing. I always thought Regis. See, I'm not saying it just because Devin fighting Regis. I always thought Regis was trash. I mean, when I seen him fight before,
Damn.
I always thought he was trash. He reminds me. He reminds me a lot of Cambosis, bro. He just does. Like the way that
His
little herky.
movement, right?
Yeah, he reminds me of Cambosis, bro. That
You think
herky
he
jerky
trash, or you
I don't
just
think
don't like his
trash.
style?
Well, yeah, I don't
You
like the way he
breaking up,
fight.
bro.
Like that. My bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I don't like his style, but that fake, like that upper movement he does when he just stand there and he shuffle his hands and then he try to. I don't like it, bro. Like I think it's
that
very.
nigga he has a bomb in that left glove though. He got a
Yeah, I mean
bomb.
I can't take. I'm not taking away his power. I just think skill wise, he don't got nothing for Devin.
Nothing,
You know what I'm
nothing,
saying?
bro.
He don't have nothing for Devin. And Devin, the only thing Devin got to do is box and keep him out of that pocket. That's it. You know what I
Do
mean? But
you
if
worry?
Devin,
Do you
go ahead.
worry if Devin got enough power to like keep as he's moving up? Do we got enough power to keep these guys off of him?
No, Devin is
With
food. The more he
Regis,
goes up,
with Regis, I don't worry about Devin. I'm gonna tell you, I don't worry too much about Devin when it comes to his power because he got a significant reach advantage over Regis.
God, pump the jab.
So because he got the reach advantage over him, Devin got enough power to keep Regis at bay and get out of there because Devin is athletic enough to keep him at bay and then get out of there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a problem for Devin when he start getting up with guys that's the same height as him. When he
Yeah.
start fighting guys that's 5'10" and 5'9" and 5'11", and that got popped. That's when it's going to be harder because he's not going to be able to just use the reach advantage and his athleticism to just bounce and roll out. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
as he goes up and he fights guys that are really like closer to like height weight ratio of a 140 pounder, that's when he's gonna have problems. But with Regis, I think he's just gonna beat Regis up. I just that's just what I see in
Hey,
my
my
head.
man, frequent flyer in the building. You already know one of the biggest Haney supporters, my guy. I always appreciate you showing love. Before you get to cooking frequent, Bullet, talk to me. What was you gonna say, Bullet? Talk to me.
All right, I'm glad everybody said what they said. Now I'm gonna start off by saying this, because I wanted to get Dev out the way first about how you put structure in the 135 division. Now, in boxing in 2023, it was very exciting, and we got to see a lot of fights that people been clamoring for a while. There's a couple fights we haven't got to see, but there's a lot of fighters that I actually support that I got to see fight. I got to see Deontay come back and fight, the Hellenius guy, and that was off of a slight layoff. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind certain guys taking a tune-up if the layoff they took was like so long. You know what I'm saying? Like he came back and fought Hellenius. I didn't feel like, Ada, go to the room, baby. I'm right here. You can see me. I don't mind them taking a tune-up if they had taken so long off. You know what I'm saying? So I was excited to see Deontay fight Hellenius. I was excited to see Andrade fight because I've been waiting to see Andrade fight. I know he fought earlier this year, but that's like I like Andrade. That's my guy, and he fought David Benavidez, another guy I support. Got beat Pummeled, but he fought him. So 2023 provided a lot of exciting fights, and it should be moving us along in a good 2024 of why certain fights should be made. The 140 division is stacked. I know in the years prior it looked like stagnant, but it's a lot of decent players that allowed their name to build up to a certain point to where, okay, now I do want to see these guys fight. It ain't like there's just people are sorry. They just don't have the name value yet. So now 140 has I believe have a more name value than 135 at this current moment to me.
Out of the 135,
and 135
140 is a lot more stacked now than 135. Like 135 is kind of like it's dwindling it out. Like, cause you only
that's what I'm saying.
Tiafimo left, Dev left. Like, it's a lot of big names kind of moving up. Ryan gone, you know what I mean? So,
but not even just them. Not even just them. I'm talking about the names that was already like Richardson Hitchens. A lot of people still don't know who that is, but that guy can fight, bro. He got skills.
I think somebody
Francis,
like him,
the guy that fought Gary Antoine Russell.
Yeah.
I feel like Richardson Hitchens would give Dev a lot.
Go ahead.
I feel like I
think that's a good technical matchup. I want to see it. I think Devin gonna beat him. But that's just me.
I can see down there at 135 though.
Yeah, 135 got a bright future. It got a bright future. I just think where Tank and Shakur is at in their career, I think by the time those guys that's coming up like Floyd Schofield, Abdullah Mason, Andy Cruz, Keyshawn Davis, by the time they are the ones that's running the division, Tank and Shakur should be well off in the 140.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny?
You got Frank Martin down there too.
But this is where we got to get at Deem though, because by the time, like you said, the Keyshawn Davis, by the time they ready, Tank and Shakur still ain't gonna be done fought each other because Tank won't fight no A-level competition. I'm here to say it. I stand on it.
Oh, come on, y'all.
First of all, let me say gonna bring a lot of resistance. So
Tank is not a 140 pounder. Tank is not a 140 pounder.
Before y'all go at him, let me finish. Let me finish real quick because I see where this is headed to. And I didn't want to go at Tank or none of that stuff because I came up here before and I told Krista, I honestly I honestly really just didn't care about Tank Davis. I know we all trolled each other or we all talk shit and stuff like that to promote fights or whatever. That prerogative, I still feel like regardless if Tank and Devin don't fight, both of them is going to have great careers regardless. Now I do want the fights. Trust me, I want that fight. I want it next if it can happen or Super Matias. But if it don't, they still gonna have good careers. Now the thing with Tank and Shakur and all the other 135 guys, it's a lot of, even though 135 is dwindling, it's a lot of good fights at that division as well. These newer guys that are coming up, it's just they don't have the name value yet neither, but they have more name value than a lot of the guys at 140 had a couple years ago, where it was like they getting no play. People knowing about Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis and the Vargas kid. And there was another kid that fought on a card a couple weeks ago. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming in the room with you.
We still got
let's watch
Ortiz at
fight.
135 too, don't we?
Yeah, Ortiz, but he kind of he's really at 140 as well, but I think he's going back and forth. So it's a lot of stuff that can happen in this division. Now, I don't know if Tank gonna fight these guys, because Tank is someone that I agree with Dean to this aspect. He's outgrown the belts. He don't really need the belts, but I still believe that's just him. Every other fighter besides Tank Davis in that division absolutely need to be going for the belts. Absolutely, there's no excuses for them because they don't have that type of recognition. They don't have that type of
Bullet, can I piggyback off you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to touch on.
Go ahead,
even though Tank bigger than the belts, even me as a Tank fan, I still want good fights. I'm still gonna be
exactly.
I'm still gonna be.
Me too.
I'm still gonna criticize Tank if he not giving me a fight that I really want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, that's my guy, but I'm paying for these like my man was saying, these pay-per-views $80, bro. Like I ain't paying $80.
And then my bad, bro.
But who is it that you want to see Tank fight? Who is it that you really want to see fight?
We want to see Tank fight Devin. We want to see him fight Shakur.
Devin don't want to fight Tank, y'all.
We just go.
Listen,
don't even mention Devin. Don't even mention Devin because Devin gone.
Exactly. I wasn't even finished, but go ahead, Chris. Because I was finna say it. Not even just Devin.
He beat Mario Burgos.
But I was finna say Shakur.
That was at
Shakur.
140.
Hold on. There's Shakur because people keep trying to make it because of Shakur had a piss poor performance. They try to make that as not y'all. I'm not saying y'all, but a lot of people are making this as an excuse. Like Tank already won the fight. Oh, I don't even care about Shakur. What the hell? This nigga's a champion. He's a true champion and he's a fighter.
Team is
bar none.
He played.
I want to respond to that, but go ahead.
Okay, but look, not even just him. I still would. I know people gonna be like, "Oh hell no!" Nah. I wouldn't even mind Tank fighting Kambosos or Lomachenko winner because they're going to get they get going for a belt. I don't mind him fighting some of the up and coming people, but I know they have to build it. I know that's not realistic, but that stuff I'm like, yes, you need to do that. I don't mind him fighting William Zepeda if he go and get another belt. Because Tank don't need the belts. It don't really matter for Tank, but the other guys need belts to establish their careers and their legacy. Because like I said, if it was just one belt, then it would mean more. Well, Tank is, just is that name. But the other guys, they don't got that name. So they need belts and stuff to establish their legacy as they continue. You know what I'm saying?
All those names you just
let me say something to y'all.
Name none of them.
I'm hearing this blast. I'm hearing this malarkey.
Come on, Dean. I'm ready to cook.
I'm hearing all of this malarkey, right? But last time I checked, ain't none of them fight each other. But it's only Tank though, right?
That's not true. That's not true.
Dean, hold on. Dean, so Devin Haney didn't run Ryan Garcia away from him?
Hold on,
he didn't try to fight Teofimo Lopez?
Bullet.
All right, my fault. You're right.
What I'm saying is, we could frame anything how we want to, because I could say, well, Devin moved up from a different weight class, and Tank is on his third weight class, y'all. But let me just.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about what weight class. We talking about at 135.
Devin Haney don't got no intentions on fighting Tank. I don't know why y'all don't realize.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that.
until he
keep
You're
it
not
outgrew
even
clean.
the
talking about
division.
that.
That's
Tank,
fact.
bro, Devin been fighting at 135 since he was 17 years old. He's 24 now.
My
How long can
hey,
he
Exactly.
really stay there?
hey Drizzy,
Now,
that's
hey,
my
you don't
point.
think?
Now
Hold
let
on,
me
Make
go
it
through
look.
this.
That don't
hold
make
on,
it.
Dean. You
Uh-huh.
don't think it's funny? You don't think it's a little weird? Tank refused to mention Dev's name for years. All of a sudden, he moves up. You know he outgrown the division. Now you mention him in Twitter on Twitter every day. All of a sudden,
No,
Hey,
you
hey,
can't
hey,
be
Drizzy,
serious.
you know
When
why I can't
Bill
let you
been
get away
using
with that?
Tank
That
name to
is
cap every fight Devin
Hold on,
have. Bill
y'all.
been
Hold
capping
on,
with
y'all.
Tank
That
every
wasn't the
fight.
cap.
but the
That was the
difference is,
fight.
Dev.
and Tank
And
mentioned
I'm
his
not
name a
even saying
couple
my bad,
times.
y'all. I'm
Tank
not even
mentioned.
saying that Dev would beat Tank. I don't know. I think it'd be a great fight. I'll let it see it. I'm not saying he would beat him. What I'm saying is, I just kind of got a different level of respect for Dev because I remember when Tank was Devin's age and Lomachenko was about 28, 29, whatever, and he was calling out Tank. Tank wanted no
Facts.
problem. He kept saying, "Oh, we
That's
not rush." Exact words. Oh, we
he was
not
under.
rushing.
That was
We
that he
got
was
There
under.
ain't
Listen,
no
he was.
rush. That's
Hey,
what Floyd said.
ain't,
Ain't no rush.
ain't no rush.
Drizzy.
Hold on,
Hold
hold
on.
on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tank
Go ahead.
wanted no problems when he was Devin's age. He wanted no smoke with Loma. Dev, I'm right in there. I respect that. This bro, it's been that Loma called him out 5 years ago. They still in the same weight class. Still ain't fought him. He didn't fight Devin. He's not gonna fight
That's
Shakur.
cat.
He's not gonna fight none of
Hey,
these
Drizzy,
guys.
Drizzy,
Let me
He
let
let,
me
has a
let me let me
great
let me
respond,
system in
put
Dean.
you.
Let me
place.
respond, Dean. Let me
He
Hold
has
respond.
a
on, Chris.
great.
Chris, because I
But
gotta
look,
go through this.
Dean, my last thing,
Go ahead, Drizzy.
He has a beautiful system in place. Like y'all said, he don't need belts. Tank can fight C and B level fighters, and as long as he knocked them out in spectacular fashion, he'll keep getting top dollar. He don't gotta chase Shakur around. He could fight, he could pull somebody up from 130
Off the bar stool.
and knock him out and get top dollar. Why is he gonna go fight Shakur?
Hey, Drizzy, let me tell you this, sir. First off, the Loma
Hold on,
situation.
Dean. You said I could go next.
All right, hold on, frequent. I gotta respond to this. I'm gonna let you get your bars off because you're gonna want to respond to this too.
Okay.
When Loma was unifying, so all that he was trying to fight Tank, no, he wasn't. He was trying to go for undisputed and it showed in his actions. And when he called out Tank Davis, they wasn't even in the same weight
Same
class,
weight
Drizzy.
class.
They
Facts,
wasn't
bro.
even in the same way. Javante was
They
still
was
at
at
130.
130. They was
They've
at
been in the
130
same weight
first.
class.
Loma came from there
Hold
too.
on,
Lomas
frequent.
went to
Hold
the
on. I ain't
go
finished.
135.
Hold on. He wasn't even in the weight class yet, and you can't even be mad at Loma because Loma was going to unify. Every match Loma had was either a mandatory or a unification after that. So it is what it is when it comes to that. Unifications trump mandatories. Everybody knows that. And Drizzy, I can't let you get away with saying, "Oh, you know Devin would outgrew the weight class," because that's the same excuse everybody was using for Earl Spence. And if y'all don't know, my man Drizzy, Bud is his man's. That's the same exact excuse everybody was using for Earl Spence after he got his ass whooped.
Hey,
So
that
I don't want to
ain't,
hear none of that.
nobody else fault that Earl Spence walk around at 195.
And guess what? It's not Tank fault. Hold on, Drizzy. I'm glad you said that because it ain't Tank fault that Devin Haney walk around at $170. It's not.
Okay, let me go now, y'all.
The difference is Tank already. If Dev at 140, Tank already won a belt at 140. So
And
go back
Drizzy,
and fight him at
And he
140.
dropped this
But
belt
Tank ain't a
immediately and
140
said,
pounder. He just
You
went
wasn't
up
a
there to shut
140
y'all
pounder
up.
when you went up and beat Murray. Come on.
but Drizzy, this is my thing. He's on his, you're not holding him to the same criteria because Tank Davis is on his third weight class, bro. Devin Haney has only fought at one weight class since he's been professional fighting. So Devin could go jump to his second weight class. Tank is on his third and has fought at 4. So you can't ask the
What he gonna
face
do?
of you
What he
can't
gonna do? He
Drizzy.
gonna try to fight him at a catch
Drizzy, let me
weight
ask
and
you a
give him a.
question,
He
bro,
gonna
because
try
you
to fight
love
him at a
boxing.
catch weight and give him a rehydration clause. Dev ain't gonna
Hey,
do
Drizzy,
that.
let me ask you something.
Nah, he gonna fight
Can
him
you
when he
tell?
30. He gonna fight him when he 35. Like all past
Hey,
30. Like
Drizzy, no,
all
because Drizzy
Haney's
know this, and watch this
last
answer.
3 opponents was.
Hey,
All
Drizzy,
his
can you
opponents
tell
is
Canelo
30 plus
Alvarez?
years old,
Hold
bro.
on, Chris. Hold on, Chris. Can you tell Canelo Alvarez what weight class y'all fighting at? If you want to fight Canelo Alvarez, can you tell him what weight class y'all fighting at? What size the
No,
ring
he the A
gonna be?
side. No,
What
Canelo
gloves
the
we
A
gonna
side.
fight with? Can you
Canelo the
tell
A
him
side.
that?
He called all the shots.
All right,
And
let
guess
me
what?
respond to
And
what you
Drizzy,
had said now,
hold on.
man.
This is where I got my man Drizzy at. Devin just said a week ago, Drizzy, because you might not been watching everything. He just said a week ago that he would fight Gervonta at 135.
That
That's what
nigga,
he said.
I saw that.
After
I'm telling you,
Drizzy,
that's a lie.
after a
He's
week before
not
that,
going to
Drizzy,
135 to save his life.
saying that the fight has to happen at 140. Gervonta is on his third weight class. Gervonta is 5'5". My man Chris over there, Drizzy, he's from Baltimore and actually knows Gervonta. Gervonta Davis is 5'5". He's already on his third weight class. So to act, because you know what, Drizzy, everybody was talking about Devin go to 147. How y'all trying to pull him up there to fight Boots? 147 would be his third weight class that Gervonta Davis is already fighting in. So fight, and Gervonta Davis has never put nobody on a rehydration clause that has fought him at his weight class. It's either a guy that's bigger that should be going up or whatever the situation is. But he has not, when it's a 135 fight, he has not put nobody under a rehydration clause. But I'm gonna let Frequent go. Go ahead, Frequent.
Yeah, to what you were saying about Lomachenko calling out Tank. Lomachenko was calling out Tank at 130 when they both was at 130. That's when Floyd said what he said. And that's the reason why I believe Lomachenko moved up to 135 because he couldn't get the Tank fight. He couldn't get that fight. He was calling him out from 130 all the way up to
He went to
135.
135.
No smoke. He
Lomachenko
wanted
words.
no issues with him 5 years. He wanted no.
Hey,
They was
yo,
both at
Lomachenko
130
words
though.
was, and 2 cents, no, I'm not lying, Frequent. His words, forget what you feel about it. His words was,
But
I'm going to 135 because I want to be undisputed. And that's
yeah,
what he was
because
done.
but
135
he
he
was
tried to
calling
do.
out, he was calling out Tank at 130. You was trying to make it seem like he only called Tank out when he got to 135 and Tank was at a different weight class. No, they was both at 130 when Tank when he talking about
6 years ago.
What
Hey,
wasn't? But wasn't
they
Loma
was at
more? I got y'all.
130.
I got y'all though. I got y'all though.
Okay, but
Was
hold on,
Loma?
let me finish.
Was Loma?
That's not
Hold on,
even what I
Frequent.
was
Hold on,
wanted to
Frequent.
talk about. I was just
Hold on.
responding to what he said. Let
Hold
me
on, I'm
finish.
gonna
Let me say
let
what
you
I was
finish
saying.
though. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. Just let me get this in.
Okay, go ahead.
Was Loma the A side at that time?
What difference do that make? Nobody was the A
No,
side
no,
for
no.
Tank.
Because I'm about to. Was Loma the A side at that time when he was calling Tank out?
He was the
Was he the
better
A
fighter.
side?
Way better fighter
He
than
Was
wasn't
Tank.
he
that.
the
I
A
don't know.
side or
I
not?
don't know. I don't know.
Tank was still on every Floyd undercard at that time.
He was the A side. Loma was the A side. If he really wanted to fight, he could have just did what? Say it with me, everybody. Say it with me. What
Yo,
do
Floyd
Handy
said
Fanny
ain't
used to
no
say?
rush.
Chill,
Floyd
Say
chill,
wasn't
it
chill.
with me.
Bro,
entertaining it.
they
No.
turned it
Say
Floyd
it
was
with
down,
me.
not
bro.
All
entertaining
together.
it. Floyd was
Bro,
his
All together.
handler.
Floyd and
Floyd
Tank
All
Floyd
turned
was
the
his
together.
handling.
handler. What you
Hey,
talking
hey,
about?
All
Chris.
together.
Hey, Chris, hold on.
Send the
What Chris
what?
Floyd was
saying
his
is he should
handler.
have sent
Send
the
the
Floyd
what?
offer.
said ain't no rush. They
He
tried
should have
to
sent the
egg Loma
offer.
out.
Send the
But
what?
hey,
Send the what?
frequent.
Facts,
He should
frequent.
have sent the offer. He should have sent the
He
offer.
never sent the
But
offer. He never did what he never
yeah,
sent
no,
the
no, I
offer.
agree with you, Chris.
He
I
never sent the
agree.
Why would
But
he
contract.
send
Floyd
the
He
offer
already.
never
if
wrote
Floyd
it.
Hold on,
say
hold on, hold
ain't
on,
no
hold on,
rush?
hold on,
He
hold on.
never
One
wrote
mic.
call
I
it.
was just about to say that. Floyd already let it be known that they're not fighting Lomachenko regardless. They don't have to rush to fight Lomachenko. That's what Floyd said. But Lomachenko still should have sent the offer. I can say that. I can honestly say that. But
All right, hold on,
Floyd
y'all.
already let
Can
it
I
be
ask
known it
y'all
wasn't
this?
happening.
Hold on, y'all.
No,
Let me
because
ask
it's
y'all
my
this.
turn. Y'all don't want to.
Go ahead, Frequent. Finish up. Finish what you were saying, Brody. Go ahead. Keep
Okay, I
cooking.
just want the 2 points I wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on Devin Haney. As far as everybody saying that, talking about people not being able to keep, Devin Haney not being able to keep people off if they punchers and all this other stuff. Why the punches that he faced, didn't just walk right through his punches then? Linares was a big puncher. He put Loma down. He made Loma touch the canvas
Loma
with one shot, if I'm
Linares
not mistaken.
5'5". Loma
Huh?
short. That's the you missed my
Oh, now it's how short he was. Well, okay,
point
so we're
though.
talking
I
about
made
Devin
that
Haney.
point. I said when you're
Hold on.
fighting a guy
Hold on,
and
Chris.
you don't have a
Let him
reach
cook, Chris. Let
advantage,
him
bro.
cook, Chris.
Cause he not get he taking it out of context. Nobody said just power. People said when he starts getting in front of guys that he's at the same height and he don't have the reach advantage, it's going to be harder to keep guys off of him. That's all we saying, frequent. That's all we were saying.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
I heard somebody say each weight class he move up is going to become harder for him because he ain't going to be able to keep people off him because he can't
They
basically
were
saying
saying
he
they were
can't
saying
punch.
Reach advantage, not
because
just
when
the
he
power
moves
because
up,
of the
he'll fight
reach.
people with the same height and reach.
Moving up
Same
don't
height.
have much to do about reach. You can't change that with
Yes, it
weight. That don't
does,
change
bro.
with weight. If you at 130 and you have a reach advantage, you're gonna have that same reach when you go up. It's not. We're talking about
No,
weight
you're
when we're talking
not,
about weight classes.
bro. Dudes that are at 130, when you look at a weight class, when you look at 135, 130, those guys down there On average, we're not talking about every last single fighter, okay? We're talking about on average. Those guys are going to be shorter than 5'9", because really, if you're a guy at 5'10", man, you shouldn't really be your body weight shouldn't be 135 frequent. You should be closer to 140,
I,
147, 1
I
154.
understand.
Now
I understand what you're saying with that.
when you move up to 140, the height weight ratio is going to change because an average guy that can walk around healthy at 140 is going to be above 5'9". That's
I
the
understand
average
that.
guy.
I
You get what I'm saying?
understand that. But
So you're gonna have a height. You're gonna have a reach difference as you move up because the taller you are on average is the taller you are, the more the bigger your frame, the more weight you should be able to handle
Chris, I
at a
understand. I
healthy. You get what I'm
understand that
saying?
perfectly. I'm not confused on what you're saying about that. What I'm trying to say is, y'all talking like when Devin Haney moves up, like Devin Haney's weight is not going to play a part too in his punching power and all of that stuff in his reach. Like y'all, the way y'all saying it is like Devin Haney's going to move up to these other weight classes and still have the same punching power that he had when he was at the lower weight
Hey,
classes drained.
frequent,
See now,
You know what
frequent.
I'm saying? So
frequent. Now I gotta school you a little bit because
hold on. Let me
I
finish
gotta school you a
before
little
you.
bit.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
Go
Go,
ahead.
finish.
no,
Let me
hold on,
finish.
Chris.
Let
Let
Go
him
me
ahead. Go
finish
finish
ahead. Go
cooking.
ahead.
before you say that.
Finish
Go ahead.
cooking.
Let me
Go ahead.
finish
Finish
before you
cooking,
say
frequent.
that.
Go ahead,
People
cook.
was making their determinations before we even get to see this Devin versus Regis fight. People just assuming that Devin's going in there with the same punching power that he had before. We don't know what he's going to look like at 140 yet. Everybody's saying like, oh, Devin going to get on his bicycle. Oh, Devin better not sit down with him. Oh, Devin ain't going, saying like Devin ain't going to be able to hurt him. We don't know how Devin is going to look at 140 yet. If he's so big, so much too big for the weight class at 135, like y'all saying, then that means that he must be depleting himself or draining himself. We all know that when you're drained, a power don't punch it fighter don't have the same punch resistance or power in their shots and everything because they're weight drained. But if you're at a weight that you're more able to adapt to and it's less pull on your body and less strain, then your power should be at better. Your punch resistance is better. So it's we can't just say, oh, he just gonna go in there and if he get caught by Regis, he gonna get knocked out or his punches is not gonna phase Regis or nothing like that. Now that's just the first part that I wanted to say. Also, I wanted to talk about the belts. These belts right here that everybody is trying to act like they don't mean anything, taking the belts lightly. The belts actually provide structure for all of the divisions. The only division that's messed up like that is the 135 division because Tank said he don't care about the belts. It's fine. That's cool. He cannot care. Tank is the fighter, but when all of the fans start saying that the belts don't mean anything, that's what messes boxing up because then you got all of these people thinking that,
Hey,
oh, this
frequent,
fighter
frequent.
they can
Hold on,
fight who they
frequent.
want to fight.
Hold on,
They
frequent. I gotta
thinking they can
stop you
fight
right
who they
there,
want to
bro.
fight.
Hold on, frequent. Y'all can't say that being Devin Haney fans because when Shakur Stevenson got the belt, y'all was sitting up there saying, "Oh, he only got it because Dev dropped it."
Exactly. And then
It's
and then
not
They
your
about.
called the
guy
It's not
Ron
and then
about
Nitty
your
the.
guy
It's
Jr.
not.
drop
chant.
and then your
Hold
guy
on, hold
drop a
on,
belt.
frequent.
Your guy drop a belt to get out of a fight that we actually want to see.
So
That's what I'm
yeah, like
saying.
so
What is you
at the
talking
same time, it can't be
about?
both
Y'all didn't
ways,
even
y'all.
hear y'all didn't hear the
Your
rest of what I'm
guy, no,
saying.
your guy is a part of the problem. When we wanted to see a fight,
Listen,
when Shakur was trying to get said belt, your guy said, forget the belt, forget the fight that people want to see. You can have it and left the weight class. So
no, because it
we didn't get
wasn't
a
worth
chance
it.
to
It wasn't
see.
worth it what Shakur was trying to do. And I proved that just now when
Uh,
on the other panel that I was on. The majority of the sanctioning bodies, lowest they can go is 25%. But y'all try to say that he lowballing because it was the WBC was 30%, but the majority is 25%. So it's
Hey,
not a low
frequent,
ball.
frequent, frequent.
And
You
at
can't.
that
You're not
point,
this
being
it
fight,
fair,
wasn't for
frequent.
just the
this
Hold on,
fight,
frequent.
WBC.
he
Hold on,
got
frequent.
this. Go
Hold
ahead,
on,
go ahead,
Chris.
go
Frequent.
ahead,
You're
go
not
ahead.
being fair, bro. That's
How
that.
that's
That's.
not being fair?
I'm about to tell you why. Frequent. Whatever the other sanctioning bodies percentages, that ain't got nothing to do with the 1%. You're trying to make it seem like the other sanctioning bodies, like they work together, bro, and you know they don't.
No,
They are all, hold on,
it's
frequent,
very
hold
important
on, bro.
because
Hold
it
on.
wasn't a
Hold on,
WBC
frequent.
mandated fight yet. It was
Hold
a
on.
voluntary.
Frequent. Hold on, bro. What I'm saying to you is it don't matter whether it was mandated or not. Once it did get mandated and Shakur went to
He could have
petition,
fought
then
him.
that's when it's a difference.
That's
But
when
to
he
try
could have
to act
fought him.
like the sanctioning body, like the WBC got to care what all the other sanctioning bodies is doing, that is not fair. The minimum that they offer for that match, regardless, is 30%. That's what it is, bro.
Shakur said 50% though in his petition, and
But
they was
no,
ready to
hold
get
on,
that
No, he
to
frequent.
him.
didn't
That's
say
not true,
50%.
bro.
That's
Bro, hold
not what
on.
he said,
That's
bro.
not true.
That's not what the
Shakur
Because
said that out his own mouth.
a frequent, what you're not
Oh,
listening to is Shakur can say whatever he wants. Just how I said that that nobody runs the WBC but the WBC. Shakur can petition, but the WBC decides what that purse split is going to be. Shakur can ask for whatever he wants. He
Yeah,
don't got the final last say on that.
if Devin let it go to purse bid and the WBC mandated for 50-50 split, then the fight will
then
have
he
to
got
be
to
at
fight.
50-50 split.
Yeah,
So
and guess
why would
what?
he stick
Okay.
around for that? Why would he
So
even
hold
stick
on,
around and
So it ain't
entertain that
frequent.
so it ain't
for
about the
all of the
belts
belts?
then. So it ain't about the belts then. It's
Because
about the
frequent, you
money.
can't say that to
So it's
me.
about the money,
When
right?
frequent, you can't say that to me when y'all Devin Haney fans say that that Gervonta Davis, why would he take any of that? Why would Gervonta do it? Why would Gervonta give him $30 million? So it's the
If
same
Chris,
50
argument
50,
on both
if
ends.
50 50 is not
And
good,
Dean,
then it ain't about.
listen to what I was saying when I was saying that the belts provide structure. I wasn't even talking about Devin Haney. Y'all know me as a Devin Haney fan, so y'all try to, throw Devin Haney in the
You
mix or
said
whenever I'm talking
135,
about
bro. You
something. When I
talking
was
about
talking about the belts providing structure, what I was trying to say is when fans try to say that the belts don't matter, then you have no structure to get the best fights, because if
But
all the fighters are going for the belts, then they're going to meet up at the top at the belts. But
and
if
you're
somebody
frequent,
saying
say belts
and
we're
you
don't
not
matter,
denying
that
we're not
leaves room.
disagreeing
When
with
Facts.
that.
somebody, hold on, let me finish.
Facts.
When somebody say belts don't matter
Facts.
and everybody agree to it, then a person with a belt can fight anybody. He can pull somebody off the bar stool and fight him, and he's not going to be held accountable because y'all thinking belts don't matter. Belts do matter. Ever since the beginning of
Hold
boxing,
on,
belts
bro.
has mattered,
Hold on,
and
bro.
now y'all trying to change boxing.
Frequent. The part
okay,
that
so
you're
why
missing,
didn't your
bro.
guy so why didn't he fight Shakur when it was the fight we wanted to see and a belt involved? Your
Because
guy is a part of that
That's
trying
a
to
fight.
move
cap.
up. Because he
Chris,
trying to.
that's cap.
That's
But
not a
The fight
I
we
got
wanted to
more than
see
one.
was Tank versus Devin.
I got more
Y'all
than
trying
one
to use
reason.
Shakur as
I
the
got more
guard
than
dog,
one
okay,
fam.
reason
so
for that.
We
I
wanted
got
Tank
more than
versus
one
we wanted
answer.
Tank versus Devin.
we didn't
We
want to
wanted
see
Tank
Devin
versus
win.
Devin. We wasn't caring
Yeah,
about
that's
This is
Shakur.
why, Cap.
We
Wait, wait,
wanted
the
wait,
Tank
wait.
only
versus
So
reason.
wait.
Devin.
Hold on.
So
The,
we
We
didn't
wanted
want to
Tank
see
versus
Devin
Devin.
versus.
Hold on.
We
We
didn't
need
want
some
to see.
order in
the
the
only
goddamn
reason.
court. Hold
The
on.
We didn't.
Order
only
in the court,
Go ahead.
y'all.
Let Dane go.
Yeah, y'all
Order in
never
the
let me
court, y'all.
finish talking, man.
Bro, you
Y'all
been
Hold
always
on,
rambling
want to cut
frequent.
me
on,
No, we
off
bro.
and
heard you, bro,
stop
but
me.
Chill
we
out,
got to
bro.
respond too. We heard what you
Yeah,
said.
But
chill
I
you
out.
got
supposed to
Let's
you.
respond
respond, nigga.
after the person talk, not cutting the person off in the
Well,
middle
when
of
how
what he's
long you
saying
gonna
and getting
talk?
it in.
Hey, free,
How long you gonna
hey,
talk?
free. Go ahead. This Dean show, we gotta show respect, fam. We gotta
Yeah,
let him get
bro.
it.
Nah, but go ahead, frequent. What was the other part you was trying to get off? Because I thought you got it off what you was saying. So go ahead.
No, the other part I was trying to get off is that what he was saying about Devin Haney dropping the belts and leaving and not fighting Shakur. The whole purpose that Devin Haney even collected the belts because he was trying to get the fight with Tank. He said he'll stay there for Tank. Shakur wasn't even in the weight class. He jumped up in the weight class and jumped in the mix, and immediately everybody threw Shakur in the mix of Devin and Tank. Devin was trying to fight Tank. He said that was the only reason that he would stay behind. But then Shakur was talking so much
Devin
that
was
he
trying to
had to
fight
add him
Tank,
into
bro.
it too. He had to add
How was he
Shakur
trying to
into it
fight Tank
too.
how was he trying to fight Tank and he made an announcement to fight Regis 3 days after Tank out of jail? What are you talking about?
We talk because Tank was in
See,
jail. That's why.
He
but
made
But
the
we
but
talking
when
about.
frequent.
Tank got out. When Tank got out, he made the announcement to fight. See, you know
Look,
what?
I
I
wasn't
gotta
even talking
calm down,
about
bro.
that. I wasn't even
I
talking
gotta
about
go, bro. Y'all
Chris. I
niggas is
wasn't even.
fucking liars, bro. I gotta go, bro.
Calm
Peace
down,
out.
Hold
bro.
on, y'all.
Look,
I
Order
I
in
gotta
the
go, bro.
court. Hold on.
I
Order
am
in
gonna
the
calm
court,
down.
look.
y'all.
I'm out.
Hold
Look, I
on,
wasn't
y'all.
even talking about at that
I'm
point.
out.
I was
Y'all
talking
niggas
about
is I can't
before.
handle
I
this
was
shit.
talking about
But
before
frequent.
you.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. My biggest point is, y'all. We can't talk about the belts having structure when the fighters they self. Bud Crawford just said F the IBF and forget the belt. And Devin, by definition, when you
Because of
don't
what
fight,
they did. Because they what
Devin,
they
by
did.
definition, When you don't fight Shakur Stevenson, you basically saying F the belt too. You going on to a different weight class. You don't care about whatever the hell they talking about. And I ain't even mad at you about that. Y'all know we've talked about this
No,
plenty
that
of
was a
times.
different
But
situation with Bud,
no,
because
it don't.
Bud
But
was
no, but my
already
point
tied in
is,
the obligation. How
no,
they
but
gonna
what my
stay
point
strict
is
him?
frequent. My point is, it can't only matter when it matters. It's either they matter or they don't matter. It's not no gray. We can't pick the gray
Dean,
area.
I didn't say is
Dean,
Devin moving up to fight for a belt, or is he just moving up to fight a regular fight?
No, Devin is moving up to fight for a belt. But when
So
Jerron
belts
Ennis,
do matter.
but
That
hold
don't
on,
make
hold
me.
on, hold on, hold on. But when Jerron Ennis, we just seen the same thing. What I'm saying is, what you're saying is true. It should matter. That part we all agree on.
They
Chris said that
do,
when he
not
first
they
got up
should.
there. But
They do
what I'm
matter.
saying is, what no, you know why frequent, why it can't matter more than everything else? Because nobody you know that has the belt would be a side to Gervonta Davis. So it doesn't matter.
Devontae Davis is only at 135. That's not the whole of boxing, man. This Tank is an anomaly. He's the only person who can say that for himself at 135. So you can't take Tank's
All right, can
situation and
somebody else
attribute
talk?
that
Hey,
to
frequent.
the
Can somebody else
whole. You
talk,
can't
please,
attribute
bro?
that to the
Can
whole
somebody else
boxing, the
talk,
world
bro?
of boxing, man.
Hold on,
All right, look.
frequent.
Can
It's
somebody
other
else talk,
guys that
please?
got belts frequent that won't be the A side in certain fights. Deontay Wilder don't have a belt right now. A lot the guy he is fighting, they're not going to be the A side to Deontay Wilder. It just is what it is, my guy. When Canelo Alvarez fought Dimitri Bivol, he was still the A side, my guy.
We're not talking about being an A side. I'm not saying
Hey,
having
can
a
I
belt
say
makes
something
you the
now,
No,
A
bro?
frequent,
side.
you missing what
Hey,
I'm
frequent.
saying,
Can I
bro.
say something, King?
You're missing what I'm saying, bro. What I'm saying is you saying the belt should have structure and all that. We agree with that. The part that you're missing is by definition, frequent, they can't matter more than the other stuff we're talking about because we clearly see it in front of our eyes. That is, it don't mean more
That's
than
what I'm
that.
saying. This is what I'm
Because
saying.
Everybody
Shakur
not
Let,
trying to
Stevenson,
fight
hey,
Wilder. People are
frequent,
frequent.
trying to
hold
fight
on.
the
Can I
people
ask
with
you
the
a question
belts.
then, frequent?
Oh my God.
Shakur Stevenson just got a belt, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He just fought for a belt, correct?
Yeah, he fought for a vacant
And nobody
WBC
is
belt.
satisfied with his goddamn fight. Nobody gives a fuck that he has the belt. They only care. They care about the performance that he had. Nobody cares about
That's
that
what
belt.
y'all trying to say, man.
No,
Shakur
frequent. I'm
is the
asking you real.
WBC champion.
Hey, frequent. I'm asking
So
you
you
for.
saying
Hold on, Chris.
so
Hold
you
on, Chris.
claiming
Because
to
I'm
be?
gonna let
Go
you
ahead,
rock,
King.
Chris. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
let you
King.
rock, Chris. Hold on,
Go ahead.
frequent. What I'm saying is, bro, forget our opinion right now. I'm asking you, since Shakur Stevenson has won that belt, has his name went up or down?
What you mean? As far as the fans?
Yes, the people that buy the fights, that set the fight up, the promoters, the networks, everybody that act the stuff that actually matters. Did his name
They
go
crit
up after winning a belt, or is his name down right now?
It depends on who you talking to, because
Frequent, I'm
Nah,
the
man.
asking you
Just
a question, bro.
answer
Yes
the
or no
question,
question.
bro.
Did he become more popular? Did people want to see him more? Did they care about? Do they care about that he has the belt more now, or don't they? Yes or no?
what that have to do with belts
Can you
mattering?
answer? I'm gonna get to it, but can you answer my question?
Well,
Did his
yeah,
name go
people
up after winning the belt or go down?
no, people saying his stock dropped because of his
Okay, stay right
performance.
there. They said his stock dropped, right? They
Because
said
of his
Shakur Steve,
performance.
right? And I was just about to say because of his performance. So therefore, what we are talking about, performance and all the other things that y'all saying shouldn't matter more, obviously does though. It's
We're
not
talking
about
about
what
making
should be.
fights though, not selling. We're talking about making fights.
Frequent,
Like
that's
what
how
fighter
we
should
make
fight a
fights
person?
frequent. How do you think they make fights though, bro?
So you think Tank shouldn't fight Shakur at all
No,
because
no, no,
Shakur
no,
had
no,
a
no,
bad
no, no,
performance?
no. But frequent, what I'm saying is, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, Tank should fight Shakur because where Shakur and Devin name is at. If Shakur and Devin didn't have a belt, those fights would still do the same numbers that they was going to do. Is what I'm saying. If Tank fights goddamn whoever, he fights Lomachenko and it wasn't for a belt. People was asking for Tank to fight certain people. It wasn't for no damn belt. They
So
don't care about that.
if people
So
didn't
can I
go
ask
for
you
the
this?
belts,
Can I
if
ask you
people
this
didn't go
frequent?
for the belts, would anybody be willing to fight Shakur Stevenson?
Frequent, what I'm asking you is frequent, is do you think that Devin Haney and Shakur, with or without the belts, if they fought Gervonta Davis, that it would sell any less?
I'm not talking about how much the fight will sell. I'm talking about if we would get the fight or
Frequent,
not.
I know you're not talking about how much the fight would sell. I'm trying to show you that you're trying to talk about how much the belts should matter. I'm trying to show you that they don't really matter, because if you could tell me that the people we want them to see, whether they had the belts or not, it would do the same amount of numbers, then obviously it can't matter that much, because the belt should up
You,
the
you,
pay-per-view buys.
you're
More
missing. You're
people should want to
missing.
see it.
You're misunderstanding. I'm saying the belts matter as to the fights that we would get. You know, a fighter wanting to fight that person because the fighter wants to fight him because he wants to take that belt. He got something that he want. But if Shakur didn't have the belt, nobody wants to get in there and
Frequent, they want
lose
the
it to Shakur
payday.
without him having a
Frequent, they
belt.
don't want the belts. They want the
They
payday.
do this.
Crawford has
Can
said
I
it.
talk
Devin
now,
Haney
bro?
has said it. Shakur Stevenson has said it. Shakur Stevenson ain't say he want to be undisputed. He said he want to be the face of boxing. But hold on,
Bro,
y'all. I
they
gotta let 2 Cents cook and Bullet cook, because they ain't said nothing in a little minute. So talk
All
to
right,
me.
let y'all
Talk to
cook.
me.
Go ahead.
Bullet.
I'm gonna go, but I want Chris to go because Chris was trying to
All
talk
right,
for the
hold on.
longest. I don't
Hold
want to
on.
skip him.
Before Chris go, then talk to me 2 Cents on what you hearing.
It's on Chris. Let's let Chris talk.
Go ahead, Chris. Cook, Chris.
man, this is the I gotta calm down, bro, because the, y'all fans, Devin Haney fans, for the most part, y'all do this all the time, bro. Like y'all play around with context, bro. When somebody says belts don't matter, they don't mean that belts don't matter. That's not an absolute statement. Y'all understand what that means? That's not an absolute statement, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're saying that the belts don't matter over us getting good fights, because you got to understand, none of y'all, and to this day, none of y'all are Cambosis fans. Y'all were not Cambosis fans before Devin beat him, before he had belts. Y'all wasn't Cambosis fans when he got the belts. Y'all wasn't Cambosis fans after he lost the belts. Tank was the youngest champion in boxing at one point in time. I never hear Devin Haney fans talk about that. When he beat, y'all talk about the time when Loma 2019, when Loma called out Tank to make him look like a duck. But y'all never addressed the fact that Tank beat Pedraza, who was a champion for a belt, and he was the youngest champion in boxing at that time when Devin
I,
had
I
no belts.
mentioned that on. I mentioned that on another
Hold
panel.
on, bro. Hold on. When he was the youngest champion of boxing and he beat Pedraza, worse than Lomachenko beat Pedraza. He beat a guy that was in his prime, an A-class world champion. And I rarely hear Devin Haney fans bring that up. They always go back to that time and bring up Loma calling out Tank to make him look like a duck. Like, bruh, the belts
Bro, I
don't
brought that
matter.
up just the
Listen,
other
hold
day.
on, frequent. Well, that without I didn't. I'm not. We're not gonna harp on that. My point. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm saying Devin Haney fans in general. Again, context, bro. Because if I harp on you, then it's gonna make. We're gonna get out of. We're gonna lose touch for my point. My point is the belts don't matter more than big fights. We want, as fans, this is entertainment. Boxing is still entertainment. We want to see good fights. We want to see competitive fights.
I got a
Devin
question for you,
beating
then, Chris.
Devin beating Cambosis was not a fight that we asked for. That's not a fight that we cared about. It was just a fight for the belts. At the end
Yeah,
of the day, that fight is not that fight doesn't mean anything on other than the belts. It doesn't mean anything. If Tank go and beat Cambosis, y'all not gonna care.
I
Y'all
look.
not
I
gonna
was
give him
gonna
no credit.
no. Listen, that's what I was gonna ask you about. When Cambosis beat Teofimo Lopez, what was the first thing he did? He said he ain't want to fight Devin Haney. He said he wanted to fight Tank. Tank told
He didn't
him
want to
that
fight
man to
Tank on.
drop
He
all the
didn't want to.
belts first.
He didn't want to fight.
Tank
You
told
talking about
him to drop
Cambosis?
off. Yeah, Cambosis said he wasn't even entertaining the fight with Devin Haney. He said he wanted to fight Tank. He wanted the money fight, and Tank told that man to drop all the belts. He
What
said,
Tank
"Drop all
said
the belts, and I'll
was
fight you.
Tank said Tank said I'll fight you. What he said?
I'll fight you."
He said
But
I'll fight you for the belts. No, not the belts. I'll fight your ass for free. Not for free. but not for those damn belts. That's what he
Yeah, he
said.
said drop all the
That's what he
belts.
said. But
Yeah, so that's so. What sense do that make?
It makes
Is what I'm
perfect
saying. Like,
sense because Tank
it
has
make
no interest in those belts. He has no interest in
but
paying sanctioning fees.
Hey,
He has
let
no
two cents
interest
cook.
in
Let
them
two
trying
cents
to
cook.
dictate who he has to fight. It makes
at that
perfect sense.
point though, at that point, Cambosos was on top. He beat the man who beat the man. So he had all the belts. So he was the number
Let's
one
be
guy in
honest,
that division.
Cambosis was never really on top. He was just a placeholder for them belts until the next
What?
person came and
Oh,
beat him.
y'all tripping now, man. I can't, man.
You can't
Come
be
on,
serious.
man.
You're gonna sit here and say Cambosis was
You
on
can't
top?
be serious. Cambosos beat Teofimo
so you
Lopez
telling me, hold on,
fair
I'm
and
not finished.
square. He beat him fair and
So
square. He
so
didn't have
you
no
telling
losses.
me, that you think that because someone have a belt, bro, you telling me you think that that means that that makes a competitive fight, bro?
He didn't have
Because
a
someone
belt.
has a
He
belt?
had all the belts. It
No.
wasn't no more champions. But Devin Haney with the
See, you
same
playing
belt,
with
he had the
again, you
same
doing
belt
it
Devin Haney
again.
had.
You doing it again, bro. You playing with the context. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm not saying 4 belts. I mean, you telling me because he was the champion. I gotta be real fucking remedial with you, man. You know what I'm trying to say, bro. Stop playing, bro. This is what I
What
can't
I'm
stand
saying, he
about
had
y'all
all the
guys, bro.
belts, bro. He had
This
all
is
the
why.
belts.
Okay, that's not the point. Do you think that he had all of the belts, bro? Does that mean that he was the best in the division?
I'm not saying that meant he was the best in
Answer
the
the question.
division.
Okay. So if it doesn't mean that he's the best in the division, we're not going to get the best fights from him.
So you saying
Period.
that wasn't a good fight for Tank to fight Cambosis is what you saying? After Cambosis
I'm
floored
saying that
Tio
was a
and beat
fight.
him.
I'm saying that was a
He
fight that
barely
Tank would
beat
get.
T.O. First
I'm
of all.
saying,
Ain't
I'm
no he
saying
barely beat Tio. He floored that man.
If Tank would have beat Cambosis, he wouldn't have got no credit for it. Any fight, Tank is an entertaining fighter. He would have not.
How you gonna assume that? Cambosis had all the belts. How he not gonna get credit for beating the guy who got all the belts? According to the WBC, because at that time they were saying Devin Haney wasn't the champion, that he was the Pride champion. So Cambosis is the undisputed champion of the world
Hey,
in
hey,
their
All
eyes.
right, so
So
you
hey,
how
hold
so
on,
Tank gonna get
Flyer.
credit
so
for
Frequent
so
that?
Flyer.
you
Hold on, y'all. Hold
okay?
on,
All
y'all.
right,
Hold
all
on,
right.
y'all.
So Cambosis it was so Cambosis was better than everybody in the division because he had the belts in your eyes. That's
We
what you
didn't
want to
know
talk
that.
about,
Can't
bro.
How many losses did he have?
Bro,
Hold
do
on,
you
Frequent.
know what you're
Hold on,
looking at?
Chris and Frequent. Hold on, y'all.
Do you
Hold
know
on.
what you?
Hold on,
How
y'all.
many losses did he have?
Key is
Niggas
up
bring the
here.
worst
Hold on,
out of me,
y'all.
bro.
Key
They
is
bring the
up
worst
here.
out of me,
I
bro.
want Key and Bullet and 2 cents to get their bars off. But I'm gonna say this, y'all. First,
These
we
niggas
could
bring the
talk
worst
about
out of me, bro.
everything that you want things to be. Mari, have y'all ever watched The Wire? Y'all
I was
familiar
in
with
the
that
wire.
show?
I was in the wire team.
My man Chris was in The Wire. Marlo said you wanted to be the other way, but it's the other way. Y'all can sit up there and say to your blue in the face, this, that, and the third. The fact remains, people want to see Gervonta Davis more than everything else. And that is the most important thing in boxing, more than the belts, more than who ducked who fought who, blase blah. The fact is, he's in a different class. And when y'all come to grips and accept the fact that he's not in the same ball game that the fighters y'all try to compare him to, how you know that? 150,000 pay-per-view buys. Probably only going to do about 100,000 this go round. Shakur Stevenson won a belt. Name went down after that. The fact remains is that's the part that matters. And to try to act like it doesn't matter, then you
No, we
just
didn't
fooling
say that
yourself.
don't. I never said that don't matter. We perfectly accept that
Isaac
Tank is the A
Isaac
side for
Cruz
everybody.
Isaac Cruz is
So
ranked
hold
number
on,
one
Chris.
in the
Hold
WBA.
on, Chris.
Go
So
ahead.
frequent. My point is, if you accept that Tank is the A side, then you are saying yourself that you know deep down inside all that belt talk is BS. Because
No, I'm not saying.
why would
I'm
Tank hold
not
on?
saying
Why would
Tank ain't
Tank
the
be
A
the A
side.
side if the belts meant so much? Tank would
I'm
be
not
the A
saying
side.
he not the A side goes to the person who generates the most money.
Hold
I'm
on,
talking
frequent.
about the good fights that we wanted to see.
Hold on. Exactly,
The
my
belts
guy.
don't give us good fights. It's the people. It's the
Frequent. That
quality
is
of the
exactly
fighters,
the
bro.
A side goes to the guy that generates the most money. The guy that generates the most money is the guy that the people want to see. The people The ones that the people want to see is who the networks and everybody is going to get behind. So
That
y'all
just
say
means
y'all
he could
love
fight who he
boxing,
want to fight, right?
but hold on, frequent. You say you love boxing, but y'all can't love boxing if you don't understand that point of it.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that just means that the fighter, the A side fighter, can fight who Tank can fight who he wants to fight. But if you don't hold him to a standard of who he fights, that's where the problem at. Because Tank can
A
fight
frequent is not.
anybody
It's
and
not that
still get
simple as
money.
fighting who
He
you
can
want to
fight
fight.
You need to,
anybody and get money.
Can
according
I
to
say
you,
something real quick?
Go ahead,
Half
Key.
of
Let
these
Key
dudes,
cook.
we don't even know who they are before Tank fight them.
Hey,
And
We
hold
then
on,
we all of
y'all.
said
a sudden
but that
know
Hey,
shouldn't
how
matter.
frequent.
good
Hold
they
on,
are.
hold on, y'all. Let
Go
Key
ahead, let
cook.
her talk, bro. Let her
somebody
talk.
say when I say earlier who y'all want to see Tank fight, somebody gonna mention Cambosis. Like, guys, who do
Nobody's
y'all
mentioning
want to see
Cambosis.
Tank fight? Tank is fighting fights that are exciting. Tank is fighting fights that are entertaining. Tank is fighting fights where if he get caught, he can get knocked out. Anytime I ask somebody who y'all want to see Tank fight, they say Shakur. And let's be honest, Bob is not about to make that fight. It's not about Tank ducking. It's about Bob not about to make that fight. And we already know that. And then on top of that, Tank and Shakur is just a bad style matchup. You see how Shakur fights people when they have power. But that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is who y'all keep saying Tank is fighting B and C level fighters. Please, at the 135 division, name me all the A level fighters that you would like to see Tank compete against. Go.
That's
Two cents.
easy. If
Hold
you
on.
just ask who did you think was going to knock Tank out?
Hey, two cents.
Nobody
Uh,
thought none of those
Two
guys was
cents.
going to knock Tank
Rolly could
out.
have knocked Tank out if he caught him. What do you mean?
Hey, two cents.
Rolly?
Hey, 2 cents. Listen,
What's up?
listen. According to Devin Haney fan that's on the panel, whether you're an A or B or C class fighter, that shouldn't matter. You just need a belt. That's it. You could be a D class fighter with a belt. That's the structure.
No,
Now
that's
go
And
to
not
that's
the
what
all
I'm
the
investment
that's
saying.
structure.
not all the
You
way. No,
cannot
that's not
No,
hold
all
don't
the way
switch
Tank.
right.
You
now.
can you
No, we're gonna
cannot
switch
hold
Cam
now.
Tank to
Bosis,
a
y'all
standard that
trying.
he
The
doesn't
problem
hold
is y'all
himself
trying to
to.
say Cam
He
Bosis
doesn't
was a.
care about the belt. He doesn't
They're
care
trying to
about the
say
You
belt.
see
the
So
problem is.
Cambosis?
saying he needs to
Did you
fight
see
for a
Cambo?
belt is counterproductive. He doesn't care about the belt. So you're not
He
gonna
Hey,
get
won
him
two
five
cents.
of
taking
Your
them,
that.
by the
mic.
way.
2 cents. You sound like a robot. Your connection is messed up.
Hey,
Frequent
But
listen.
fire you bringing up.
2 cents.
But hold
Tank
on,
won
y'all. Let
five
Key
belts,
go.
by the
Let
way.
Key go.
Go ahead, Key. Go
The
ahead.
ladies in the building.
All
Key,
right.
after all
Let
this
the ladies
malarkey
calm us
you done
down.
heard,
Calm us down, lady. Calm us down, please.
give us your point of view, Key. First of all, Key, before you go, give us your point of view on what you're hearing, what
What
you
up,
think
Key?
about 2024, and what boxing needs to do for us to have a great year coming up. But go ahead.
Okay, so shout out to everybody. I was listening in. I'm actually doing homework, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Because I think it's so many points that are being like it's hard to argue each point, and I think people are moving away from the points. So first of all, with boxing 2024, I've said it for the past 2 months. The way that boxing is moving, how it continues to move, everybody is going to have to see everybody. That's just how it is. Boxing is in a good place, but it's not because every network is not Omega. Everybody, but the networks are not doing good. You know what I'm saying? PBC is the only one that pretty much had a green ledger fight for the whole year, meaning that they didn't go under; they actually went over, and they did that with 3 fights: Tank and Ryan, they broke even. Their projections were even with Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, and they did well. They went over a little bit with Canelo and Jermell Charlo, actually. So those 3 fights put PBC in the green, whereas other networks are have been in the red for a few years and actually losing money and losing subscriptions. So that's number one. How I think 2024 is going to play out is that all these boys are going to have to fight. All these boys are gonna have to get in the ring and start making a name, because this is a eat what you kill sport, and it's time to start mixing it up. I agree with everyone on here. Now this is where it gets tricky. Now Cambosis, I will agree with Frinkwick. Cambosis was a good fighter, right? I'm not saying that he still isn't, but he's not at the top of the food chain where we would say, "Oh, Cambosis is a killer." To be honest with you, Cambosis was his stock was over flooded by Lomachenko. And I think we can all agree on that, because for the longest, Lomachenko was the prize. He was being propped up over everybody at Top Rank, even Devin Haney. And I'm not trying to argue that point. Bob Arum literally said that Loma was better than Ali. So if that doesn't tell y'all something, like, come on. But Kambosos was a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? But nobody came second to none to Lomachenko. Now, where it gets mixed up at when it comes to all these belt talks and everything, the belts didn't start to matter in this division until Kambosos, Tio, Loma, Devin all started to mix it up. Now, where it became a problem, where it became an issue was, and Frequent was right about this, Shakur wasn't in that division. He wasn't even in the 130 or 135 division as of yet. But where it became mixed in at was Tank was the odd man out, saying he don't want to fight for the belts. He don't care for them. And so there was so when he downplayed the belts, because, okay, think of it like this, you guys. If you have a prized chemist, right? Or you have a very smart chemist that's really good at doing everything, what institution is not going to seek him out to be on, you know what I'm saying, to work for them, like a Harvard or a Stanford? And so when you have a Tank Davis that is selling out, from what I'm hearing, with C and D level fighters, and he's bringing in $5 million gates, okay, without the hoorah of being, a decorated champion. Sanctioning bodies are not only looking down on this, because they're like, yo, here's a belt, fight for these belts, so that we can have it. Tank is our WBA champion. Tank is our WBC champion. But instead of him getting those, going after that, he said no, which is why Frequent and Chris, y'all make the comments of saying, I'll fight Kambosos, I just don't want them belts. And it wasn't that he was crapping on the sanctioning bodies. It was a simple fact that he don't agree with the fees that's associated with it. And let's be real, Tank from the get-go has always said he's just trying to make enough money to put his people on. That's it. He's always came in with that philosophy. I'm just trying to provide for my family. And when you go to the Rise podcast and you see what they're doing in that community, you see why he's saying that. You see what they're investing that money into with them other fighters. Shout out to Jaleel Hackett, because Tank trained with him as well. And so I think it's really, you guys are trying to say what it should be and not looking at what the fighters want. If a fighter is telling you that it's not about the belts for me, I can do this all without a belt, and that is an anomaly. I've been telling y'all, Tank is a different breed because of the fact he doesn't need the belts. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need the belts to sell a fight. He just needs his name, and people are going to come out and watch him. So is nothing wrong with him, in my opinion, not taking Kambosos. And then with the whole Tank and Loma Duck thing, I'm gonna continue to say it. 2 Cents was correct. Tank was fighting Pedraza. Tank has always been in contracts, has always had back-to-back fights. There was a point in time when Tank was fighting 3 times a year. Now, for the past couple years, he's been fighting twice. He's always been in contracts, always been in camp. When Loma moved up to 135, Bob Arum said he was not making that fight, Frequent. And when Tank got there, he's been very quiet. You know what I'm saying? Very quiet. He don't even mention Tank. You feel me? So I can't say that Tank dunked that man. And to be honest with you, like I said before, I think duck is a word that we use. It's so common, like a code. I keep telling y'all, I don't believe that none of these boys are ducking, but I can't question their moves and their motives, because I'm gonna put the Devin Haney fans on blast with this one, Bullet and Frequent, and y'all know it's always all love between us. But I'm not about to call out somebody for 4 years, pass out, go to a store that they shop at, make fun of him, say Happy Thanksgiving, say I'm smoking on Tank, talk about his mother being on drugs, say all these things, put out sparring videos of him before a fight. I'm not going to do all of those things for 4 years And when it was time before you left PBC, because everybody keeps forgetting, Devin Haney was a PBC fighter. He left PBC, and that's when he started calling out Tank. Don't at me at that. That's a fact. And afterwards, go on this whole antics for 4 years. And then now, when you send a text, you put a text saying, I'll be available December 9th. And then a couple days later, you drop your belts and you start talking about 147. I'm not going to say that's a duck because I've been hearing that Devin Haney is having a hard time making 140 per his words. But what I am going to say is the clout chasing and the BS has to stop, because just because you call out a fighter doesn't mean that you're going to get that fight. There's a difference between being a mandatory and the fight being mandated. And we got to stop diluting that. Those are two significant differences. Tank was never a Devin Haney mandated fight, nor was Tank or Devin mandated to fight each other. It's just been a lot of talk. You know what I'm saying? A lot of banter. And that's what fighters do. But at the same time, you can't just drop your belts and then say and then say 147. You got to keep that same energy. At least one thing I can appreciate about Tank is that from the get-go, he has always said, "Yeah, I'll fight Devin Haney. You want to fight me? You got a Cambosa's rematch, pay him step aside money." And then if after I'm done fighting Ryan, I want to fight him. What did Tank do? After the Devin Haney and Loma fight, he put up a poster on his TikTok, which I have, and it said, and it was a fused face of Tank and Devin, and it said, "Don't run." You know what I'm saying? Whatever it happened between preliminary talks or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, we know for a fact, because of what Eddie Hearn said, Devin Haney was always going to Matchroom, and Devin Haney always had Regis Prograis in his eyes before the Lomachenko fight. So if anything, I have to question Devin Haney's motives more than I do with Tank Davis and his team, because they haven't been the ones out here doing the antics that Devin Haney has done. You know what I'm saying? But just because Loma has called him out, just because Cambosis has called him out and everything else, if he didn't want to fight for the belts, he didn't have to. But again, when have y'all ever heard Tank was saying, "I'm chasing after legacy"? Don't worry, I'll wait. When have y'all heard Tank say, "I'm going after a championship"? Don't worry, I'll wait. He never cared. It's always been about putting his people on. Go ahead, Bullet.
And then he ended
All
up
right.
winning 5 championships just by not going for championships. He won 5 of them. So it's like you can't really you can't really look at the
Hey,
guy and say he's done nothing. I'm gonna let you go, Bullet. You can't really look at the guy and be like, oh man, he don't care about belts. He won 5 of them. Just because he don't hold on to him and hold up, he didn't want to hold up 140 with that belt. He didn't want to. He let it go. You know what I'm saying? He still has a belt. Let's not forget, guys. That belt has mandatories. He still has a real belt. I know people like to say it's a Reggie belt. That is a world championship belt with mandatories. So even then, when you say he don't care about belts, I mean, like I said, that's not an absolute statement. When you say something doesn't matter, when you say something don't matter, sometimes you're saying within context. If I say if I go into a situation and there's other moving parts that deals with that situation, and then there's one little thing, and I say, well, that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't mean that it's not other things that uh matters in that situation that I need to pay attention to. That's the best thing I can come up with. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not an absolute statement. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like when somebody tries to make it absolute, they're trying to take it out of context because when you get a guy like, for example, Isaac Cruz in the
You breaking
WBA.
up, Chris.
My bad. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a guy like Isaac Cruz. Everybody's looking to criticize Tank for fighting Isaac Cruz. Well, Isaac Cruz is ranked #1 in the WBA. But if belts matter so much, then ranking should matter, right? Ranking should matter too, because that's how you get a belt. But then people throw the rankings out the door and say, well, we don't want to see that. He's a bum. He's a come forward Mexican fighter. Tank fight C-level fighters. Well, how could you discredit him fighting the #1 seed in the rankings and then tell me how much belts matter. That's how you get a belt. You get what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. You know.
Go ahead, Bullet. Go cook, Bullet.
No, you on point with that, Chris.
Absolutely. I agree with that stance. And this is the point where I come and break the walls down. You feel me? Okay. Now, first, I this is what I be like, y'all boys be arguing with yourselves. Because as when I first came up here, my first statement was, or one of my first statements was, I understand Tank is at a level where the belts don't mean nothing to him. Like he surpassed the level of belts because of he's the face of boxing in terms of the money and revenue and stuff like that. But the other guys, the Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevenson, the Lomachenkos, and I'll just say their names because they're bigger name guys. Those guys need to go for the belts to establish themselves as some of the greater fighters. Now, of course, the eye test, people, because that's what y'all basically going off of. We can see who's the best fighters. I understand that. But to put a stamp on it, going for the belts, help that case. Now, when the Devin Haney fans is like, oh, yes, the belts, yeah, go for the belts because everybody that's going for the belts for the most part are the best fighters. Besides the, like Key just said, the anomalies, the guys that surpass that. Canelo, Tank, those are the only two guys that surpass that level. Nobody, see, the arguments y'all using against Devin, or I'm going to say his fans, it's the same arguments y'all was fighting for in this case of Earl Spence. Oh, Earl Spence going for the belts. He's proven himself by fighting the guys that were going for the belts. That's all I'm trying to say. We want the best fights to happen. And the best
Because
fights
that's what
between the
Earl
other
said he
guys.
wanted to do. That's what Earl
But
said
look,
he
this is
wanted
what
to
I'm saying,
see.
Chris.
You
Exactly.
can't
And
even
Devin say the
add
same thing.
Canelo in that
But hold
either
on,
because
let me
Canelo was
finish.
undisputed two
But
times.
hold on. Let me finish. Because what I was going to say was, damn, you kind of threw me off. Um, the other guys go for the belts to prove they are the best. To get to like Dean like to say, you trying to get to the level that Tank at. Tank is already at the peak of in terms of the money. Because everybody know, like Chris' argument is, the money is the most important part. I understand that. But that with Tank in them, they got to a level also with the pushing of Floyd Mayweather, because y'all act like that ain't happened, and Adrian Broner. He had guys that were already established to allow him to be pushed higher than he could have been by himself. He's a great fighter. He can fight. But because of his backing, he was able to get pushed to a certain level. Now, one thing I would say is before his name was established, what people like to forget, and like Chris said, he do have other belts. He was going for other belts, and his motto was strap season, which means we're going for the belts. And up until his name got to a certain level, it didn't. He was going for the motherfucking belts. Now, I'm not saying that that's everything. I'm just saying that's a part of an argument. Our argument is we want the best fights. And as I said before, the better fights, the better fighters, other than the anomalies, are going
Hey,
for the
Bullet.
belts. So that's a
Bullet.
way
Let
to
me
push them
respond. That,
into the
And
same
guess what?
stance.
Even with that, and even with Earl going for the belts and fighting for the belts, unifying the 147 Glamour division, guess what people still say? Oh, he was a hype job. Oh, he ain't fight nobody. Oh, PBC
Now they were saying
manufacturing.
that
No,
about Bud. They weren't saying that
the
about
truth.
Earl.
Yes, they were. I've heard it. The truth is, you cannot please everybody in boxing. It's subjective.
I understand that. I understand that. But I was getting to other parts as well. Um, and
Hey,
in the
Bullet.
case of
Hey,
yeah, go
Bullet.
ahead, fam.
All I'm saying is when Tank says that, I understand that that's not an absolute statement. You gotta put things into context. Like I feel like with a lot of Devin fans, I'm not even talking about you at this point, at this
Yeah, I'm
moment.
not even tripping.
I feel
You
like
know, this
I
happened. This
feel
is a good
like I
boxing
feel like
conversation.
I feel like when they want to, they want to take things literal. And then when they want you, they want to compartmentalize things. Like you gotta know when to take things literal and when to compartmentalize. That comes with language. When you understand language, I'm a bilingual person. So when you understand language just in general, sometimes you can tell when somebody's being literal, and sometimes you can compartmentalize what they're saying because you understand the context. When Tank said the belts don't matter, I don't take that to mean that Tank is never going to fight for a belt. I just take that as that he not gonna put belts before his money. You get what I'm saying? Like it don't matter
Yeah,
more
I
than
agree
me
with
getting
that.
this. It don't matter
I was
more than
agreeing with that.
me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter more than me getting my bread. I'm not gonna take a pay cut for a belt. That's what that means to me. Like I'm not gonna pay if I don't want to pay the 5. I don't want to pay the 5. Now, if you're willing to let me get this belt and I ain't gotta pay the 5, then maybe I'll take it. You get what I'm saying? I just take it with context. I don't take it with, oh man. So if he ever fight for a belt again in his life, then he ducking. Nah, that's not what I take it as. I just feel like it's context around it.
Well, let me say this, y'all.
Apply
My
apply
biggest
that
thing
to the
is, y'all.
Cambosis situation though, Chris. Like,
Frequent,
do you
frequent,
think
frequent.
that
You can't cut off Deem the host, fam. You gotta let him
Hold,
go.
hold on. Let me say this, y'all. We can sit up there and talk about this all day, but y'all know how I get down. Y'all know I like to deal in actual facts. All Dean know is I've been telling y'all that Gervonta Davis is at the apex of the sport. Frequent, Key, Chris, 2 Cents, Bullet. Y'all have all heard me say this plenty of times. All I know is the other two guys that's his main competition that people want to say, Shakur and Devin, they have said that their goal is to be the face of boxing. Devin Haney just said he didn't care about, oh, I'm undisputed. No, Devin Haney said, I'm the face of boxing because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. The main goal, like I've been saying for a while now, is to be where Tank is at. So once you beat the game and you already at the top of the game, you don't have to concede anything at that point. He earned it. The problem is people don't like the way he earned it. And that's where the problems come in. Tank don't have to do anything. He's already where everybody else is trying to get. So I agree with Bullet and them and Frequent that, yeah, if you only way to beat another top contender is to beat him out to get in position to fight for a title, cool. I understand that because you're not selling in X, Y, and Z. But last time I checked, Ryan Garcia ain't had no championship titles, and he was selling. And it's why Ryan did what he did with Duarte, and
Ryan
he
wasn't
gets the
selling Dean.
no. What I
that's
He
mean
another
is,
wasn't
thing.
selling.
Y'all keep
No,
trying to
no,
say
no,
He
no,
Brian
was
no.
not selling.
that
Yes,
Brian.
yes, he was. Yes, he was. Hold on. Let me say this. Let me put some correction to it. When Ryan Garcia fight Fortuna, his comeback fight in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan did a live gate of $1 million. That was more than Devin Haney. That was on par with Tank Davis. He was the only one from the 135 to the 140 division that was putting up those type of numbers. It was a $1 million gate. You can check it for yourself. So yes, Ryan Garcia. Now he might not have had the pay-per-views, but his
That's
gates,
what I
even
was going to say.
last night, yeah, even what we seen last night, they come out for Ryan. Now I will give that to him. So that fight made sense. And I also want to add too, with the whole belts, and I'm sorry, Dean. What I also want to add too is that Garcia and Tank wasn't a championship fight either. I just want to put that out there. That was a strictly voluntary fight with and they made that much money. So I just want everybody to sit there with that. Championship fights don't always, and look at what just happened with Canelo and Benavidez. But yet their non-championship fight for a 12-round bet made over $100 million. Go ahead, Dean.
I
But
appreciate
Key,
that, Key. I
my fault.
appreciate that, Key. But you saying that because that's all facts. What I'm saying is whether Ryan sold prior to Gervonta or after, it'd be what I tell. Either way, it proves my point because I tell y'all all the time, none of these guys are that relevant unless it says versus Gervonta Davis. But my biggest point is Ryan, no matter how you like it happening, it happened. Ryan Garcia's name is on the other side of one of the biggest pay-per-views in the last 15 years. That is a fact also. It's a fact he wasn't selling prior or after right now, but that don't mean going forward Ryan's not going to be selling. And I'm true, and so you got to be careful with that. Because one thing I do know, if Ryan get back in another big fight, he probably outsell Devin Haney and Regis Prograve right now.
How when he ain't doing pay-per-view?
Hey, what I'm saying to you frequent is I believe that if they announce Rolly and goddamn Ryan Garcia, that would do more than Regis Prograve and Devin is about to do.
Let's make a
Absolutely.
friendly
You
bet.
think that'd be so?
Let's
You
make a
saying you
friendly
think
bet.
that'd be
Hold on, hold on, hold
pay-per-view?
on. Let's make a friendly bet. Nah, fuck all that. Let's make a
So
friendly
you
bet
saying
because that
that'll
look
be
like
a
the fight that's
pay-per-view
getting
fight
pushed
though?
next.
Oh, that's gonna be a
Let's make a
pay-per-view
friendly
fight.
bet. Let's make a friendly bet then.
That
Let's
don't
see.
got nothing to do with putting Devin
Let's see.
down though. Listen, that don't got nothing to do. That not putting when he say that Ryan and Roley would sell more than Devin and Regis, for example, right? That's not putting Devin down because Regis is not the guy that can sell with Devin. Because I can turn around and say Tank and Devin would sell more than Ryan than and Roley. Why?
Yeah,
Because when you put Tank and Devin together, that's gonna make more money. Y'all Haney
yeah,
fans
yeah.
think
Facts.
that
And then
he's
listen to
trying
this,
Facts.
to
No,
Chris.
that's facts
insult.
right there.
You get what I'm
And
saying?
I
Like
believe,
he not trying to insult Devin
yeah, I'm
by
not trying
saying
to
that.
insult him. And what I'm saying
Like
is, I believe Devin and Ryan would do more than Roley and Ryan. But I know that Ryan and Roley will do more than Regis and Devin. That's
it's
all
all
I'm
about the
saying.
dance partners.
No,
All
Yeah,
about the
no, but
dance
you got
partners.
people
I'm
out here
cool with
talking
that.
about. But you got people out here talking about Ryan Garcia is a pay-per-view a sell. You know, saying that he sells more than Devin and all that. If y'all truly believe that, why wasn't his next fight after the one that he did all those pay-per-view buys with Tank? Why that's not on pay-per-view? Once you become a pay-per-view star, you don't go back. You're a pay-per-view star. All of his fights going forward supposed to be on pay-per-view. If he's a
frequent,
pay-per-view star, he's
frequent.
not.
I will say this, bro. Now you know that's my argument when I be telling y'all that Tank is the reason, but we got to be fair to Ryan. You know what he going through with Oscar and them out. You let's be real, frequent. We
But
know
he
they
said
More
they
controversy even
Exactly,
makes it
no no
bigger.
no
exactly,
More
no. Hold on,
controversy
frequent.
makes
Hold
it
on. We
bigger.
gonna let 2 cents go after this. Frequent. What I'm saying is, bro, we know they
Let me go
wasn't trying
after
to
her.
do nothing to benefit Ryan Garcia right now. Like they was doing nothing. Like I believe that Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya, how they carried it frequent. We've never seen promoters act like this. I believe they wasn't promoting this fight. So why would they even put it on? I think they purposely wasn't promoting this fight to not put it on pay-per-view frequent. That's just my humble opinion. But I feel where you're coming from. But then it kind of mess up your argument when I be sitting up there telling y'all that Tank. If what you're saying is Ryan sold because of Tank. That's my point to y'all. Why Devin or none of the rest of them, y'all arguing with me for months at a time. They don't control nothing. Fight the man at his weight class or shut the hell up.
We never dispute that, Dean.
Y'all had no too
We,
frequent,
I
not you
haven't.
all
I
the
don't know
time and
about.
not Bullet, but both of y'all know people have disputed that with me. Not just y'all. Y'all not the only Devin Haney fan. We talking about as a whole. The narrative out there as a whole. He got to go to 140. Why Tank don't just send him the contract? Why when we all know it's not that simple to just send the contract. Bill Haney said that. He said, unless y'all give us this, we are not taking that. So that means
Yeah, I
that if
think
I
people
just
say
sent you
that.
a contract, you're not going to just sign it. Like I told y'all that he wouldn't just sign it. So
I think
that's
they're
my
saying
point.
that because Devin can't make one. They're assuming that Devin can't make 135. That's why they're saying he got to fight him at
We're
140.
not assuming,
You
and
know,
guess what? That messes that argument up because Devin just said he will fight him at 135, and then 5 days later he vacated his belt and was talking about 147, like Key was saying. But I want 2 cents to go and get our bars off because she wanted to respond to what y'all was saying. Go ahead, 2 cents.
um I just want to say, like, the thing with Ryan Garcia is, listen, I'm a Ryan Garcia fan. I do get a lot of backlash. But if we're honest, if Ryan Garcia gets with a promotional company and he's moved correctly, he can become, and he stays dedicated to his craft, he can become one of the faces of boxing. Yeah, he did the 1.2 million pay per view buys with Tank, but Tank ain't did that with nobody else. So
Can I tell
just
you
right
like
something
there
about
is
Ryan
Tank?
partner.
Two
said,
Yep.
cents. Hey, 2 cents. Can I tell you something about Tank? Something on a just somebody. I don't know if you from Baltimore or not. If you from Baltimore, you know what I'm saying is true.
no, I'm
You get what
not.
I'm saying? Right. Okay. So
I'm not from Baltimore.
people, Floyd and Tank are a perfect match. Okay, because Floyd himself can't make you a star by himself. If that's the case, Richardson Hitchison should be a star by now.
He never promoted
Who else?
nobody like Tank
It's
though.
a
He never
no,
promoted
but
nobody like Tank.
you gotta understand. You gotta understand. Tank has the it factor, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Tank was a star as an amateur in Baltimore. He used to sell out events in Baltimore as an amateur. So when you put a guy that has the it factor, that has the promotional backing and give him the promotional backing, then you get Tank Davis. And Mayweather. They make a lot of money together. So when it comes to Tank and Floyd, I don't give all that credit to Floyd because I know Tank was already a person that people wanted to see in the DMV before he even got to Mayweather Promotions. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's not about giving Floyd all the credit because you're right. It takes two. And just like Tank has an it factor, so does Ryan Garcia. He
Yeah,
listen,
I
he
think that
made
too.
it
I agree.
he got a $30 million fight with no belt, no championship, and he was able to produce that type of revenue. So all I'm saying is there's a new blueprint out for boxing, and we have to figure out what lanes our favorite fighters are in and then hold them up to that standard. That's all I'm saying. That you can't even give Tank a belt. He like, no, I don't want that shit. You can't even give it to him. So whatever lane Tank is in, it don't involve belts. That's all I'm trying to say is that let's just hold the fighters to the standards that they want to be held to. And you can
Right.
So yeah,
say Tank not fighting the top competition, Tank ain't fighting this and that. But once again, nobody has told me, and I ask this question every time I go around, who are the top fighters at 135 that they want to
Shakur
see Tank fighting? And that's what they say. They
Edwin
say
De Los
Shakur. But
Santos,
let's
so
be
y'all
honest.
don't
Edwin
y'all
De Los
don't think
Santos.
Shakur Stevenson. Wait. Shakur Stevenson is not ready to fight Tank. One and two. You already know Bob is not about to make that fight.
Frank
why you
Martin,
say he's not ready to fight
Edwin
him?
De Los Santos, Lomachenko.
Hold on, why you say Shakur not ready to fight Tank?
First of all, Shakur has only had two fights at 135, and it's a bad style matchup. Anytime
He
Shakur is
was ready to
fighting
fight Devin.
anytime
Same thing.
Shakur is fighting somebody explosive with power, you get the same type of performance he got against De Los Santos. And Tank is way more skilled than De Los Santos. Shakur not gonna get away with all that running. That
So
fight
But
is
oh
gonna
Shakur
so
make
take.
okay,
them
I
look
get it.
easy though. The
I
crazy
get what
thing
you're
is
saying.
when
I get what
Shakur
you're
fight that
saying, but
style, when Shakur fight that style, it's boring and whatever. But he always on the end of winning them fights. So we need to see what's gonna happen with him and Tank because Tank is known to cut off all that bullshit people be doing. So
I
let's
think
and
get it popping.
that's what Shakur was saying in the beginning. Shakur was saying if you your only bet is to knock me out, then you lost already. That's basically he just showed what he's talking about. So I don't think that's an excuse for Tank not to have to fight him or to say that you don't want to see
I'm not
Tank
saying that. I'm
versus
not saying that that's an
Shakur.
excuse. That's my personal 2 cents of how I think the fight would go. But honestly, and two, another thing we got to understand is the business of boxing. Sometimes the business is getting away of these fights, so we need to be clarify more exactly what a quote unquote duck is because the business getting in the way or you offering me a BS percentage and me not taking a fight, that's not a duck. That's just the business getting in the way and it's not worth it.
well the
Yeah,
thing
people
is
gonna get
What?
headaches
Oh,
trying to
my
explain
fault.
that duck thing.
Let,
well the thing
Go
is
ahead, Key.
I think the thing is that when it comes to a Shakur and Tank, it's not about him not being ready. I've been saying it. Bullet has heard me say it. I think that with the when it comes to a Devin and a Shakur, that's a perfect style matchup because of the history and they know each other. Shakur and Tank, they haven't sparred since Pedraza, if I'm not mistaken. And that was what was that, like 2020, 2021 or so, 2019. So they haven't sparred since Pedraza, but their coaches know each other. So both of them, when it comes to Shakur and Devin and Tank, they all have a great background story that will sell. What makes this one interesting, and I think that's the reason, one of the reasons why too, that if Devin was to, because I think Devin after this is gonna be a lot of pressure for him to fight Tank. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, but I think that him fighting a Lomachenko, and let's see how he do against Regis. I got him beating Regis. Um, that'll be a better selling point than it would be for Shakur right now because what happened with Shakur in his last fight. I do agree with Frequent that, if you got to knock me out and you can't do that, then you're not going to win. However, when you come to a Tank fight, you see a story. You see the introduction, you see the main supporting points, and then you see the conclusion. It's a build-up. It's an exciting fight. Devin and a Tank would be more of an exciting fight on paper right now than a Tank versus a Shakur. So it's not about Shakur not being ready. It's just that that fight wouldn't be marketed as well as it should be. And the thing is, what Shakur messed up on is as he was ducking and dodging, he wasn't coming back with as much offense. And so you can't tell me that somebody who has said, I am better than Floyd Mayweather. He said that. We all know that. And then you get in there and perform. That's not how Floyd performed against Maidana. That's not how Floyd performed with Canelo. When they would come for him, his counters were fluent. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter how much power they was packing. Floyd Mayweather made them pay for it every time they missed. And so do we really get that sense out of Shakur? I would say deep down, no. We know that that's not, like, I keep telling y'all, Shakur needs to get in there with Muratalla. Nobody wants to listen to me. He needs those different looks because what everybody is failing to mention, and Chris touched on it, you're talking about Tank Davis, who has over 200 amateur fights. He has seen style after style after style. Devin Haney, I think, is at one something, or no, like 60. I know Shakur is at like 67 plus Olympics, but Tank is ahead of all of them. And when you get that much, when you have that much competition, and you see those, you have that many fights, and from your kid all the way into your adult life, it's not too much that you haven't seen. And I'm like, I think Shakur, in order to be ready for a Tank Davis, would be to get in there with a Muratalla. But right now, as a marketing standpoint, a Tank and a Shakur would not sell like a Devin and a Tank. To be honest with you, Devin, his only bet is to either fight Tank or fight Tio, because now it's not about legacy. What did Devin just say a few days ago? He said he only wants the big fights. That's
Yeah,
it.
Key, let me ask you
Key,
a
but
question, Key.
he not
Do you think do you think that Devin is getting too big for the Tank fight?
Do
facts.
I?
I think he already too big.
What you mean
I
in
think
weight?
Yeah, like
yeah.
in weight, like he's
He's been too big. Devin should have went up 3 years ago. And I said
So
that
at this
with Bullet. Bullet heard, I think Bullet was there when I said I don't want
Yeah,
Devin to
yeah, I
fall.
hear y'all say that.
Yeah, that I don't want Devin to fall into an Errol Spence trap, because Earl Spence was supposed to been at 154, 160.
Yeah, Key. So at this point, I think the Tank versus Devin fight is water under the bridge now. You know what I'm saying? He already gone. You know, Devin already up at 140. We already know he not coming back down. So,
But
and
if
we
it's
already
about
know Tank
money,
not going up. So
but
why
if
we
it's
keep
about
entertaining
money,
that? I
because
think
if
Tank
it's
need to
about
fight Shakur and
money,
them
if
dudes.
it's about big fights like he just said it was, if it's about big fights like he just said it was, who else will he be able to make that money with? He could still, if he can make 140 for this, they can do a catch weight at 140 for a Tank and Devin.
Yeah, but we
Key,
ain't
check
gonna
this
do
out
that
though.
because
Hold on,
then
freak.
it's gonna be
Watch this, freak.
it's
Check
more
this out. Because this is my
vibration
problem.
thing.
If Devin, okay, say they set the fight up, right? And this is why I'm saying, y'all know, I want the fight. I do want to fight. Deem and Chris was up here when we was talking about it on a show a couple days ago. They asked me what do I want to see from Devin, and I told them the fight that I want to see, and they were like, "Damn, you don't care about Devin." It's not that I don't care. That's my favorite fighter. I truly believe he has the skill set to beat these guys. I know a lot of people going gossip and all that other crazy shit, but when the time comes, if Boots is still there, I'm backing Devin to whoop him. It just is what it is. But this is my thing with Tank. Say
what? Devin the Whoop
if
Boots? Is that what you said?
relax. Hey, mama. I don't want no beef with you, mama.
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
want
I'm
no
just
beef.
trying to clarify. That's what you said.
Absolutely, you
You said
goddamn
you
right. I'm
backing
backing.
Devin to. Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
backing Devin Haney to whoop Boots in his ass. But look, check this out though.
The
Hey,
tank, the tank,
hold
the Tank
on, freaky, because
versus
I'm finna get
Haney
into it.
fight is like Santa Claus right now, though.
I'm
That's
finna
like
get into
Santa
it, freak.
Claus, man. I don't believe in
Look.
Santa
This
Claus.
what I'm doing. I'm finna get into it. Look. If Tank Davis offered Devin Haney to fight and they tell him to come down, right? And Devin Haney say okay, and then they get to the weigh-ins and Devin Haney miss weight. And all y'all gonna do is cry. Oh, Tank, oh, he cheated. We knew, and Devin Haney's still gonna whoop his ass regardless, and y'all gonna still cry about it because he didn't make the weight. That's all I'm trying to say. So anything he do at this point is gonna be, oh, Devin Haney ran from there. He's gonna beat Tank regardless. That's my opinion. I'm gonna say that first.
Hey,
He's gonna
Boo,
beat
Let,
this
Tank
let me
Davis
say this,
ass
and I know this
regardless.
might. Let me say this, and I know this might be a
go ahead,
controversial
Sin.
take, and I've been saying this for a while. I personally, my 2 cents, don't think Devin ever really had any intentions on fighting Tank.
I agree with
Because
you.
why hasn't the fight been made? One, and why? And I've also heard that they
Leonard
sent
Ellerby.
Tank a contract, and Bill told Ellerby they have decided to go another way. How true
She
that
said
That
is,
you
was
I
can't
don't
you
know.
can't blame that
Yeah.
on the B side.
that was
What
Espinoza.
you mean? They
How
sent
you
him a
gonna blame
contract.
that
They
on the
said the
B
other way.
side? The other
I'm not.
side
I'm
have to
not.
come with the
There's no
contract.
blame.
Hold
There's
on.
No,
no.
Okay.
she said it the
There's
wrong
no
way. She
blame.
said it the wrong way,
There's no
frequent. She
blame.
meant to
So
say that Espinoza. She meant to say
no.
Espinoza. They sent
Listen,
Espinoza
Yeah,
sent Devin a
Espinoza. I
contract.
mean,
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
trying to
go
say.
ahead,
Espinoza
Dean. I'll
said
be
they
back, y'all.
sent Devin a contract, and they said that he was going another way, and that's fine. It's no issue with that. All I'm saying is, I don't think there was ever any intention on fighting Tank because Devin Haney knows he's getting bigger and he has to go up. So to me, you were either waiting too big to get too big to fight Tank so you could have a better advantage, or you had no intentions on fighting him. Now you talking about fighting
Or he
Boots
could
and
have been
Thurman?
sticking around
How
the
we
weight
gonna go
class.
from Boots to now you talking about you can't talk about fighting
don't do
Tank and
that.
then jump up and talk about fighting Boots and Thurman in the same conversation.
2 cents. This is my response to that.
No, that's some
Devin
future
Haney.
stuff though,
Devin
man. I
Haney
think
went
that's
to
like
the
Santa Claus too.
WBA to try to make them sanction Tank to fight him. Tank, the WA went to Tank Davis, and then they informed Devin Haney that Tank Davis was willing to drop the belts to not fight him. For one, Leonard
That's
Ellerby
They said
multiple
that
times
they said that
throughout the
wasn't true on
years.
another panel. Gibson. They said that that wasn't true on another
Man,
panel that I was
hey,
on, so
frequent.
I just
I
dropped
don't
it.
be giving, I don't be giving a damn what they be saying, bro. It is because we all, it's all our opinion.
They said that was a lie, so I left it
Tank
alone.
T, Leonard Ellerby, multiple occasions said that the fight is not ready yet. When Devin Haney wanted to fight, when him and when Tank and Floyd had beef, Floyd Mayweather and Devin was like, "Oh, they say everything, but let's fight." Floyd jumped out there, still, trying to, because Tank is still his fighter. He was saying, "Oh, nah, Tank and Devin is never going to fight because I want Devin Haney to go up to 140 and Tank Davis going to rule over 135." Tank team has vehemently turned down or pushed away and diminished the fight for years. Now I know y'all want to harp into the now, but back then when their names wasn't as big, Devin Haney was willing to fight him without the belts because you know how y'all try to say the belts without the belts, and Tank team didn't want it. Now Tank never was scared to fight nobody because Tank just gonna fight, but his team, this is what I'm saying, his team did not want the fight. So it is what it is.
Okay, so let me rebuttal that. So number one, when it comes to negotiations, if I'm not mistaken, Bivol sent Canelo an offer, and David Benavidez sent Canelo an offer. So, and they are, those are C and D level sides compared to a Canelo in that weight class. So that's number one. Number two, the WBA did not. First of all, there was no. If a sanctioning body is going to consolidate belts and do all of that, first of all, they will announce that because there's boards and there's shareholders attached to each sanctioning body. So and those are public entities. Those are not private. So they have to announce those things. That has never been announced. Number two, when they asked, I think it was Fanon who had asked. What's his name, Coach Calvin about that. They didn't even know what Fanon was even talking about. That's number two. Number three, if you're talking about the WBA, they had already had 2 fights lined up for the Cambosis fights with the WBA. So how can you consolidate a fight with 2 fights already consolidate a belt with 2 fights already on the horizon or one that had just had already happened? So that's cap. Let's stop
It,
spreading that lie. Hold
Wait,
on.
and
say that
I'm
part
not trying to
again.
cut you
What you
off,
saying,
Key. I'm
huh?
not trying to cut you off, Key. But exactly during that time is when Bill was doing all the capping about how they can fight Tank and Tank
Yeah.
don't want to fight him and how they can get out the contract and all of that stuff. And then as
Right.
soon as those Cambosos fight was over, it was no more Tank talk.
Right. But see the thing, no, and I get that. But see the thing, I was making a point of what Bullet was saying about the WBA, talking about consolidating belts. There were already fights on there, already scheduled. That was with that whole Cambosos thing, if I'm not mistaken, around that time frame, with Devin versus Cambosos. So how is that even possible? When like that doesn't even make sense. And they would definitely announce it, just like the WBC just announced a month ago, of their new plans moving forward. You will get a point deducted if you clinch too much, hold too much in a fight. And if you get knocked down, that's an automatic point deduction because of the Ryan and Tank debacle with Ryan knocking down, Tank knocking down Ryan in the second round. And the scorecards were all over the place. That should have been a 10-8 round, but they didn't have that. So, but they announced it to the public a month ago of what had happened. That's what would happen if there's any consolidation talks or anything like that. That never happened. So we got to stop spreading that. And then third, so I've mentioned the negotiations, and then with the belts. Third, Devin Haney, yes, he was calling. Again, I just told you guys, there's a difference between calling out a fight being a mandatory and a fight being mandated. Those are three separate things. I can call for 2 cents all day long, but if YouTube do not order that fight or mandate that fight, it's not going to get made. Chances are it's not going to get made unless it's a voluntary. But let's go with the voluntary. If Devin Haney is calling out Tank when Tank had back-to-back fights lined up, and then we find out that there was a rematch clause, which Cappinger had already announced the rematch, but then Bill Haney came up and did damage control and said, oh, no, it's no rematch. That's a lie. We still want to fight Tank. And then 2 days later, it's announced that it's Devin Haney and Cambosos rematch. My point is, when did y'all expect these two guys to fight? Because you can call out all day long. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an excuse, Bullet. I'm not trying to make an excuse for why the top fights are not being made. It's just a simple fact. It's facts. How is Devin Haney trying to fight Tank and he got 3 fights lined up, 2 Cambosos, 1 Loma, right? Then on top of that, we find out that him and Eddie Hearn was already in talks in December for him to come back to Matchroom, have a fight lined up with Regis in April, okay, which was signed in August for a 140 fight, but yet
Exactly.
Devin wants to fight Tank. Okay, let's go with the other side. Oh, Tank don't want to fight Devin. Okay. Coach Calvin told Bill Haney, pay the step aside money for Cambosos. Get out your rematch with Cambosos. We'll fight you. Don't nobody mention that. When Devin Haney first started calling out Tank a few years ago, who was Tank lined up to fight those 2 times? Because if I'm not mistaken, Devin Haney went on a promotional tour with jumping into the ring. Hold on. He went on a promotional tour with jumping into the ring with T.O., or not in the ring with T.O., but rode up on T.O., called out Rolly, and had other fights and stuff lined up. Tank was already on a roll with fighting, and he had 2 fights lined up and then fought Rolly. But when Devin was calling out Rolly, that's a good fight. But when Tank ends up, when Rolly is mandated, became the mandatory, and the fight was end up mandated, Rolly was trash. But Devin wanted to fight him first. That's not to mention, during that time, he was also rolling up on Ryan Garcia. That was going to be a big fight, right? Because at that time, Ryan had already brought in some money. So everybody wanted
Ryan
Ryan.
was his mandatory
Right. Ryan wanted, but
twice.
Devin wanted Ryan to fight him. Ryan said, no, it's not no money in it. He went the Tank route, started clout chasing Tank, and started bringing in the money. That's when he went on that year hiatus, came back, started calling out Tank again. And then that's where we get the product. Okay. So we got to stop saying that these boys, that Tank never wanted to fight them and everything else. There was really literally no time for them to fight each other. Both of them were
Hey,
in
Key,
fight, and they were clout.
and
Yes.
my biggest thing, Key, is everybody is calling for Gervonta Davis to have all these big fights, and he's not taking these big fights. I'm about to go through the lightweight rankings with y'all real quick. Devin Haney, and then Bullet keeps saying, well, he's not at the weight class no more, so we're going to take Devin out. So it can't be oh, Tank not trying to fight the major fights, but then say, well, Devin ain't making it happen because he's not healthy enough to be at that weight class. So let's take Devin out of it. You got the WBO, Vasil Lomachenko, #1, Denise Burkacek, whatever his name is, Burkacek, #2, Issa Cruz, #3, Angel for Pharaoh, #4, William Zepeda, #5, Frank Martin, #6, Raymond Matala, blah. In the IBF, you got George Kambosos, Lomachenko, Issa Cruz, Maxie Hughes, William Zepeda, Keyshawn Davis, the other guy, Burkacek, and Raymond Matala. Then in the WBA, you got Issa Cruz, William Zepeda, Frank Martin, Edwin De Los Santos, Kid Austin, Vasil Lomachenko, Chris Colbert. Then in the WBC, Vasil Lomachenko, William Zepeda, Issa Cruz, Raymond Matala, Jermaine Ortiz, Frank Martin. I say all that to say, y'all, is that all of these big fights, Tank is in a lose-lose situation regardless, because if he fights any one of those people and it's not Lomachenko, and Lomachenko has 2 losses on his resume, 2 or 3 losses, something like that, they're not going to give him credit regardless. So stop saying he's not fighting the top competition. The top competition where? In his weight division, I just named y'all the top competition. But
Say
if
the
he fight
WBA
William
real quick again,
Zepeda,
Dean.
hold on, Bullet. If I say he got to fight, if he fights William Zepeda, not a problem. If he fights William Zepeda, won't get credit for it. If he fights Issa Cruz, won't get credit for it. If he fights Kid Austin, won't get credit for it. If he fights Burkacek, won't get credit for it. If he fight Kambosos, nobody cares. So, and even Frank Martin, people was like, we don't want to see that next Frank Martin, Duck Shakur, and all that. His name is bad out
I
here
ain't
in the
heard
streets.
nobody say that, Dean. I heard nobody say
Bullet,
that.
I've heard people say that Frank Martin ducked Shakur and got to get his lick back. He shouldn't even be talking after Shakur fight because he ducked him. Frank Martin's name is
No,
not good
I'm
out
talking
here.
about not fight Tank. I'm talking about that him and Tank
No,
not a
what I'm
good fight.
saying is you heard
He
Knockout say
herself
that.
always said.
No, Bullet. Knockout has said that. Remember when he was talking about Calvin Ford, y'all said y'all gonna set the world on fire. It better not be no damn Frank Martin. That's not gonna set the world on fire. Knockout even said it. So
Yeah, you're
what I'm
right.
saying,
Knockout did say.
but what my point is, Bullet, none of those guys that are the top of his weight division, that are the top guys, y'all would give him credit for. He has to fight Shakur or Devin. Period. But then y'all say
Dean, but I
Devin's not
gotta
at the weight
disagree
class
with
no
you on
more.
that one, man.
Devin can't make 140 no more.
I
That's
gotta
the
disagree with you on that one, Dean,
what?
because I don't see anyone here not going to give him credit if he finally fights Loma.
No, I said no,
we get
Truth. I
on.
said besides Loma. Truth, you ain't heard what I said first. I said besides Loma.
I got you.
But Loma has a fight right now. So me and you know, Truth, that whatever, Bob Arum is not willing to do business with Gervonta Davis because he said it on camera with Shakur Stevenson. He said it.
He ducked Shakur. Loma ducked Shakur to
Wait,
fight
I'm not getting
Cambodia.
into that. I'm
How
not
are
getting
you
into that.
ducking fighting for a title?
I'm talking the truth about.
you know, Dean. I had to make him
No,
mad real. I had to
I
make
know, but I'm
Truth
talking the
talk.
truth about.
Truth, my nigga,
Truth
man.
know how
Salute the Truth.
Bob Arum, as
And
much as
JD.
Truth love Loma,
Both y'all
he know
boys.
how Bob Arum move. And Bob Arum already
Yeah,
said
what's
before
going
this
on?
Loma fight got announced, Bob Arum already said that he wasn't even willing to make the Shakur Stevenson fight. He's definitely not going to be willing to make the Lomachenko fight, as we
Right,
see.
Dean, but you got to think it's a new day with Top Rank and PBC working with each other just based on the Shakur De Los Santos situation. Like they working, at least they making some type of fights with each other where it's
Truth,
not.
hear me out on this. I feel you, bro. But have you noticed when it comes to the PBC fighter going to Top Rank, it's always a lesser ranked guy. He's not the A side of that situation. What I'm saying to you, Truth, is Bob Arum is not willing to do business with them when the PBC fighter is the A side of the situation. It's rare that he's going to do that. If the PBC guy is the B side of the situation, Bob going to do it all day because he benefit from that, especially if
But
it's a name.
Dean, I mean, you're saying the A side, like that is a different argument. No promotion is just volunteering their A side over to another promotion, unless it's a cross promotion or a joint promotion.
But that's what I'm saying, Truth. When we're talking about Tank, we know Tank the A side of all A sides. So whoever he fight, it's going to be through PBC. It's not going to be nowhere else. That's what I'm saying. So that's my point right there.
Hey,
It's
can I
not
say
going to be.
something? Wait, let me say
It's not
something
going to be nowhere else. And we
for
haven't
y'all finish.
seen Bob Arum got too much love for Loma. In his eyes, Loma is the A side to Gervonta Davis. In Bob Arum's eyes, in his head. We ain't talking about nobody else because he the person that matters. And if Bob Arum not willing to make the fight, then it doesn't even matter to begin with. That's one.
I mean,
But
Tank is the A side, but I'm saying it's a 60-40 split, if you ask me.
no, but I get that, Truth. But what I'm saying is Bob Arum don't even want to hear that shit. So what I'm saying
But
is, Truth. I'm
you
not even
can't
on the
use
Loma thing. I'm
Shakur's
not on the Loma
situation to
thing, Truth.
judge Loma, though. That's the
But
thing.
Truth,
Like,
what I'm saying
Shakur
is
is
I
his
already
young
said,
star. He's still grooming.
but Truth, I already said besides Loma, if he fights anybody else that is ranked high, my whole point is they're not going to give Gervonta Davis credit no matter what. Y'all want him to fight guys at 140, but then want to make excuses why the guys at 140 can't fight him where he's at, and he's the A side. But now, if he fights all the guys in his division, the top guys in his division, it's not one of those guys that he's going to get a huge round of applause for. And Truth know that it won't be some Devin Haney fans sitting out there saying he's still not fighting the top guys. Issa Cruz is top 4 in all the sanctioning bodies.
But he already, I would say, and this is me personally.
Williams Zepeda, hold on, Truth. But Williams Zepeda is top 5, top 3, top 2 in all of the sanctioning bodies. But if he announced Williams Zepeda tomorrow, nobody's going to care. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. It only works for, it don't work for Gervonta. Everybody else can fight top guys at the division. Well, at least he fighting the champ. At least he fighting the top contender. But Gervonta Davis can't fight nobody in his division that's at the top of that division that they will give him credit for. That's my point.
I'm not going to give you the Cepeda point, but I do understand your overall point as far as like if he fights Martin or Cruz or someone like that. But the Cepeda, I do think like we would give him credit for that.
I'm not sure about that, Truth. That's all. When I'm saying this, Truth, you know what goes out on these YouTube streets. No. It's either he fights Devin or Shakur, or he's not fighting nobody. I'm talking about the notion that only Devin and Shakur is the only somebodies. And Truth, you heard him say plenty of times, he's not. I just want to see Tank fight a top 5 guy, not knowing that Issa Cruz is ranked top 5 in all the sanctioning bodies. It's stuff like that that pisses me off, Truth.
No,
because they'll say
I
something that's
Nah,
just
Dean,
not
we
true.
agree with you.
I get that 100%.
Dean, we agree with you. It just the thing is. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, hey, listen, man. I'm gonna put it in perspective like this, right? When you look at the top 3 that we said, or let's say the most notable out of the lightweights, right? Is Devin, Shakur, and Tank, right? We look at these 3 and we say they need to be fighting the best out of the best, but we don't also factor in their performances when they're fighting the best. This is the reason why certain fights aren't being matched up on everybody's side. People say Tank is just a brawler, right? They say he's a brawler. They say he's not a boxer. Like, for the people that actually do fight Tank and has watched him fight all the way up, we know he's a boxer puncher. We know he has good footwork. We know he has IQ, right? We look at Shakur. They say Shakur is the most dominant defensive fighter, with the highest connect and not get touched stats, right? And then we look at Devin. Devin is supposedly the best lightweight the best lightweight fighter with a jab, right? The jab is much more dominant than most fighters in his weight class, and he knows how to touch you and not get touched, right? But when we look at these performances, to the blind eye, to the casual, they don't factor these things in, right? They don't factor the things that makes boxing in. What they're factoring is, I want to see a knockout. I want to see who's gonna do what when it comes to the performance, right? And I think he said it. The biggest thing about boxing these days is people want to see knockouts. So, to Dean's point, if you're not putting Tank in there with somebody that could possibly knock him out, and he knocks them out, then it's not exciting. You put Devin in the ring with somebody that doesn't really pose a threat in terms of his skill, it's not as exciting. And we see what happened with Shakur. He's the least exciting out of the 3. At least Devin will take chances. He'll get into the pocket. He'll fight with you. He'll use his feet, shuffle his feet, try to box and not get hit. If he feel like he in danger, he gonna clinch. Little shit like that. That's why we want to see Tank and Devin, because we don't know what could happen. Tank can, at least the casuals don't know what will happen. People like to say, "Oh, Tank doesn't box. He just a puncher. That's all he is." But they don't factor all of his skills and the things that his accuracy. You have to have IQ to be able to knock out guys that are 6 feet taller than you like that. And for Devin, you have to have IQ to be winning close decisions with fighters that they say are better than Ali or decorated amateurs, 300 and something plus fights with 5 losses. You have to be something in order to beat a fighter like that. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be damn near convincing, and we not seeing that from the Shakur. So when we talk about top fighters in the lightweight division, there was only 2. And now I only see 1. There's 1 now. Tank is the only one. If Devin didn't move up to 140, it would be Tank and Devin. That's the only fight to be made. So when we talk about top fighters, just understand this. Them in the top 10, with Tank being number 1 and damn near all of the sanctioning bodies, because that's how it's going to go. None of them guys in the top 10 not named Devin Haney stand a chance against him. And that's just what it is, man. I hear a lot of people have been saying the same thing about, oh, yeah, I haven't seen Tank fight in the top fighter or this and that. That is not true, because he is the best of the best at that weight class. So
I got a question.
And
for
I
the
gotta
panel.
disagree with that best of the best, but obviously I know where
I got a question for the panel. Is setting up knockout shots and setting traps, is that not one of the highest forms of IQ that you could display in boxing?
it's the highest level of IQ in display.
Well,
No,
I would say yes
no,
and no,
no, it's
because
not.
it depends on your fighter. It depends on the style. Like if someone isn't jabbing or punching their way in and all they're doing is walking into range, it doesn't take a high IQ to set a trap for them, because they're already going to walk into range.
A lie, man.
So it depends.
That's a lie, man. That's a lie.
I'll say this.
Same way, just to kind of use my example. I apologize, Dean.
No, it's all good, brother.
Okay, but with Oscar Duarte, with Ryan, that didn't take no great level of IQ to set a trap. Duarte
Exactly.
wasn't
That
punching
nigga was
his way
ass.
in. All he was doing was just walking into range and hoping to load up on a shot. But he wasn't.
Ryan set that fight changing punch up.
No, I don't mean in just a single fight. I mean, this is obviously Tank's style. His style is to set you up in a trap and basically make yourself walk into something.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not just. It doesn't depend on who he fights. He does it to everybody.
Let me ask 2 cents a question real quick. So who has the highest IQ in terms of that you're trying to say?
As far as got a plot and
in boxing. No, hold on. I want her to answer the question. Who has the highest IQ in boxing in terms of that?
I say
of what you saying.
Bud Crawford.
Tank.
See, and I knew this was.
I'll say Tank just because he doesn't throw a lot, but he makes his shot count.
It's between Tank and
Okay.
Bud.
What about Deontay Wilder? He said
I was
his
just
shot
going
up,
to say, and I know
one
people
shot.
not going to want to hear this, but Deontay Wilder too.
All right, let me say this, y'all. The reason why
set it up though, no,
the reason why
I'm not gonna.
Okay, yeah, I see what we're doing. Okay, all right, Troop, I hear you, pal.
I'm gonna say this. To do what Gervonta is doing, the fact that he don't throw a lot, it has to be IQ.
Yeah, no,
it's not
100%.
just because it's not just throwing at the whim. When he knocked Ryan Garcia out, if y'all can go back to his training with Kenny Ellis is on YouTube right now, they was working on that shot. Kenny Ellis told him he was going to throw that shot, and when he do that, you dip down and hit him to his liver.
I'll do a better one for you when you're done. How about when he knocked out Barrios, the first knockdown?
Yeah.
When he knocked out Barrios, and
what did he do?
Really, when he knocked out
they got video of him practicing the way he knocked out Rolly.
And I was just about to say that.
You want to talk about setting something up? That was the
all
ultimate.
These guys throw punches and set up punches. Sometimes power is just another equalizer in their tool. I'm not saying that's a skill.
But what are you hearing people say about Tank now? He don't hit hard. He don't got no power. He just
That's
know
people
where
he
to
already
place the
knocked out
shot.
though. That don't even mean shit.
Like
That's
I
people
want to say
that say that is
9
people he
times
already
out of
knocked out, so it
10,
don't even matter.
Wilder's
What I'm saying
knockdowns
is
are off of that
this is the thing
1-2. It's
can't
not
nobody
anything.
this is the thing that can't nobody dispute. All the top fighters in boxing say Tank Davis got one of the highest IQs in boxing. You won't be able to go find one top fighter right now that we are even talking about that won't tell you that about Tank. Even Shakur Stevenson has said it and Devin Haney.
No
So when I
facts.
say this,
Tank got a lot of fans.
no, I said the top
No, it
fighters.
ain't
We ain't
even
talking
about
about
the
the fans.
fans.
I'm talking about,
No,
hey,
no,
you
no. I
can't
agree,
name,
but I'm
you
saying
can't name. Hold on, Bullet. Hold on,
I
Bullet. Hold
agree with
on.
you, but I'm saying my fault,
Hold
my
on.
fault,
You
my fault.
can't name one top fighter, not one, in any weight class. Like go Jerron Ennis, Bud Crawford, Earl Spence, Canelo Alvarez, name them. And they will tell you that is Tank's best quality. That's the one part that y'all all sleep on. He's very intelligent. You hear it time after time. Go to anybody that sparred Tank Davis and look what they say.
Bro, he said it. He said Tank, when he was on the Gillian Wallow show, $1 million worth of game, they asked him, they said, who was Shakur's toughest fight? And they also asked him who was the best fighter in the world. He said, I believe Shakur Stevenson. He said, Devin Haney, I feel he'll beat him. But he said Tank is his toughest fight. Everybody says that about them three. Shakur, Devin, Tank. They say Tank and Devin is 50-50 more than they say Tank and Shakur. Some people say Shakur will beat both of them, which I highly disagree with because he's inexperienced and doesn't have the level of, just ring experience as them. Like, Devin is way more experienced than Shakur, bro. He's fought at the championship level longer and naturally bigger guys. You feel me? Shakur's working his way up. All that shit that you do at
Nah,
120,
Shakur was in the Olympics.
it's
An
not gonna.
Olympian.
It don't matter if he's an Olympian because where are those fighters that he fought beside Rubisi Ramirez? Let's be real.
Hey, now I'm just saying what they be saying. He's an Olympian. He got
Where,
all the skill sets in the world.
I
He can
will
do
say,
this.
I
where
will say, I'll go ahead, JD.
outside of Rubisi Ramirez, who? Nobody. I don't even
No, I'm
know
saying
who.
people that big up Shakur, they always say that. I was making fun of that
I'm
argument.
down because our guys between you and me, Devin and Tank, because we are arsenals, you and me, Bullet. But I think we both can agree that nigga Shakur won't be either one of them guys. And that's just how it is. And he doesn't exhibit the skill to be able to do so. If you look at the landscape, he's inexperienced. Both Devin and Tank have more amateur pedigree than Shakur. He just has the accolades. That's all. It's the same situation with the pros. Devin is undisputed, but most people say, which I agree with, he didn't really fight anybody that was dangerous to become undisputed. He fought a good name, but George Kambosos was not dangerous. He whooped his fucking
Is
ass.
Regis Prograde Devin most dangerous fight?
No,
No.
not at
Right
all.
now, yes.
No,
Right now, yes. You said that he fought, that he has fought.
bro.
No.
Devin 10 years
Devin's
in this guy, bro.
Devin's most
Huh?
difficult Devin's most difficult fight was Loma.
No,
Regis is not
Yeah,
Regis.
yeah. But I'm just saying, yeah,
bro.
because
Listen,
my
the
fault,
fighter
Keith. My fault. Cutting
beat
people off.
the fighter that beats Devin has better footwork than him, more explosive, and can box with him. That's who beats Devin. And you know who I'm talking about. His name starts with a T. It's Tank. Don't
Well,
nobody.
we know it can't be Tank because his name start with a G. But
Well,
good try, fam.
see what
Hey,
I think that I think that I think that I actually disagree. I think that Shakur and Devin is a 50-50 fight. And I said that at first I had him winning, but I've said on Upper's channel that Shakur and Devin has now went to a 50-50 fight for me. That's going to be a dog fight. I truly believe that. I stand on that. I'm not going to base him off of just one performance because one thing that I do know, people like to go back to the Nakathila fight, but he knocked Nakathila down. To be honest with you, prior to that De Los Santos fight, Shakur was on a 5 knockdown streak. You know what I'm saying? Now, with the level of competition and all that, we can all argue that. But one thing we should all agree on is that resumes don't fight. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. And Earl Spence and Bud Crawford was a prime example of that. Earl Spence went, like Bullet said, Earl Spence went and collected 3 belts from 3 different people.
Right.
and beat the brakes off of them. You feel
Already.
me?
Oh,
And when people fail to realize or just don't, want to mention, Bud avoided Ugas. I remember that vividly because I was like, yo, that's a good style matchup because of the background. Because if you guys remember, Ugas gave Bud the blues back in amateurs. I don't know if anybody know that story, but I do. And I wanted to see that fight, but Spence stepped up and beat Ugas. You feel me? So just because Devin is fighting names, to be honest with you, when it comes to the 135 and 140 division, let's be real. Who are the names? Tank, Shakur, Devin, Tio, and
Loma.
Loma. That's it. Like, let's be honest.
But I
Matias
got,
just got in the mix.
I got,
Matias just got in the mix. Gary Antoine just got in the mix.
I got.
Frank Martin trying to get in the mix. But those are the top names, y'all. So everybody else is like, oh, give us big names. Who? Because last time I checked, Shakur just got out of a fight. Devin finna fight. Loma and Cambosa is about to fight in the spring. Tio don't know if he's staying here or going to Africa. You know what I'm saying? He talking about fighting overseas now.
Ain't Williams and Peter free? Ain't Williams and Peter free?
William just fought Richardson Hitchens.
Nah, that was
No. That's Jose Cepeda. Williams Cepeda in 135.
I'm not sure about William being free, but that's a good fight. I would like for him to fight William. To be honest with you, I would like Tank to I keep telling y'all, I'm gonna keep saying it. Somebody gotta knock off Frank Martin. I'm gonna keep saying
Facts. That's who I was thinking about.
Bullet, you done heard me say this. I've been saying it.
Yeah.
Somebody got to take
I
Frank
agree.
Martin off the chessboard. I will
Key,
want Tank versus.
And he high in the rankings too. That's what I was going to say. He's high in the rankings. That's why I wanted Dean to read the rankings again of that division.
Hey Key, I gotta disagree with you because you said that Arrow and Bud was gonna look a certain way, but when you look at them two, you look at the two fighters, their styles were tailor made for one another up until they fought. As a matter of fact, a lot of people were saying that Arrow's or Crawford's style was tailor made for Arrow, and then a lot of people were saying that Arrow didn't have the qualities and skill set and the ability that Crawford did. The punch between punches, establishing the distance early, effective aggression, ring generalship, fighting in the pocket. Now, when we look at Gervonta Tank Davis and then we look at Shakur Stevenson, Shakur is incomplete. He doesn't have the ability to stand in the pocket. He's not gonna take any chances. It's actually the complete opposite. And honestly, if anybody, and I mean anybody, thinks that Shakur is just gonna box Tank and he gonna respect him enough not to chase him down like Edwin did, you better not bet on him. Because Tank is gonna put Shakur out. It's just, if you know the sport, certain things look a certain way for a reason. And it appears as if, and that's because of Shakur's promotion and where he's at, what network he's on, how they talk about him over there, and other people, other fighters that have been in the ring, sparring with him or training camp, how they speak about him. But in reality, Shakur does not have what it takes to beat even Devin. And I don't think he has what it takes to beat Lomachenko either. Or Frank Martin at this point.
That's an opinion though, but Shakur.
No, I think
You
he
can't
beat
say
Frank.
Shakur
I
can't
think
fight.
Frank got the athleticism and the power to beat Shakur, but I think he lacks the experience. But that's my 2 cents.
We can't really say Shakur can't fight inside. Shakur fight. He's an excellent inside fighter. He just didn't do that with De Los Santos.
Who has Shakur beat to prove that he has more experience than Frank Martin? In the pros.
When I say experience, I mean as far as an Olympic pedigree, an amateur pedigree. He's been fighting longer, fought more people, fought more styles. That's what I mean when I say that.
I'll give you one, JD. I'll give you one. The one that they say look like Ali.
Frank started late though.
Michelle Rivera.
Yeah, Michelle Rivera, and then the one that he just fought this summer.
That guy was an Olympian. I believe he was a silver medalist, and he struggled.
The one that Frank Martin fought, that German dude, he's a German Olympian.
Okay, but look how long it took. He wasn't following. See, one thing about Shakur, and this is what I mean about discipline. One thing about Shakur, see, Frank had to get instructions and kept having to get redirected in that corner. Shakur is going to make the adjustments right there on the fly. I don't think Frank got enough tools to beat a Shakur, but the longer that they wait around, the more that Frank is going to be avoided, because Frank is a very good fighter. And he's a go as you learn fighter. And those are dangerous too.
That's what I'm saying.
Frank know
But
how to cut off the ring though.
that's why I said I don't know if he's gonna beat Frank Martin, because it's the same thing with Ryan. Even with the Ryan fight last night, people say he looked trash. I say I seen improvement.
See,
Massive improvement.
My thing is, y'all, with Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin, after them both going through that whole fiasco, and then Shakur Stevenson sit on there and put up that performance, y'all got to just get in the ring. Shakur, if you are not fighting gervontadavis next, sir, you need to be fighting Frank Martin. I'm sorry, because now you can make it happen, because Frank Martin will be the B-side, so y'all probably will be fighting where Top Rank wants you to fight at. But Shakur Stevenson at this point, it is what it is, bro. Like, you did that to yourself. Like, one thing
Now
I
he can
noticed.
offer him 25%, right, Dean? Because he got a belt now.
No, he gonna offer him. He gonna have to offer him
I
whatever
agree with that. I agree with that. That's a
he gonna
great
offer him. No, he gonna offer him. What I think Frank Martin to do is do exactly what Shakur did with Devin, and go petition to try to get whatever he think he can get. To be honest, that's a smart thing to do if you is going to do anything. But what my biggest point is, Shakur put himself in a bad situation because you talk big but you fought small, and then now it's like, if you think that you're going to be able to go in there with Gervonta, the judges aren't going to give you that same benefit of doubt that they gave you with Dos Santos. They even scored that fight close.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to walk in there with Tank and be running around the ring the whole time and they're going to score it for you, they just not going to do that, bro. And
Tank
that's
just
just
gotta
how
catch
boxing.
him now. Tank
Huh?
gonna have to cut off the Tank gonna have to cut
Who
off
is
the ring and catch him.
No, but what I'm saying is
Who is
frequent.
that? Who is that?
That's my man, Frequent Flyer.
Oh,
What I'm saying.
oh, yeah. You a Shakur fanatic, right?
No, he a Devin fanatic.
So why is he talking like for Shakur like this, bro?
Nah, because
I'm
he kind of
fair,
rocking
man. I'm a
Shakur a little bit.
hardcore boxing fan. I'm not just a Devin Haney fan that don't care about the other fights. I want to see the good fights. Devin Haney is out of the equation at 135 for me now. That fight is water under the bridge with him and Tank. I don't know why people still trying to, pull that back. That's like Santa Claus, man. I don't believe in Santa Claus. Tank
Hey,
need to fight the people in his weight class. He need to fight people at 135. Shakur, one of them dudes. Loma or Cambosis, people trying to act like Cambosis trash, but he's he's in the rankings, man. He's in there. He's in the mix. He only had one loss, two losses.
Cambosis is not a world beater. Cambosis is an opportunist. So let's clear that up,
Nobody
man.
nobody said he was, but he was better than Tio.
It would tank that shit. It's gonna be a long night, or it's gonna be a quick one. It ain't gonna be.
My thing is, y'all, if I'm being
Let's
honest
see
about
it
Tank,
though. That's what I'm saying. Let's see it.
Frequent, what I'm saying is, y'all, when it comes to Tank, it's only one way you're going to beat him. You either going to really have to outbox him for the full 12 rounds, not just 5 or 6 rounds. That's not going to be good enough. You either have to outbox him purely for 12 rounds and let your hands go, or you have to knock him out. And I don't see nobody that's in either division capable of knocking him out. So
that's with any fighter. That's the only two ways you can beat somebody.
No, but
hey, listen,
that's a great point. No, that's a great point. That's a great point. I feel where he's coming from, JD.
No. We're not gonna do that, Dean. You know I'm not. No freebies. I say that all the time. Listen, if you think Tank gonna get in there with Shakur and box like he did with Edwin De Los Santos, and Tank not gonna touch him more than Shakur touched him or touched Edwin De Los Santos, or Edwin De Los Santos touched Shakur, because Tank is gonna touch Shakur, right? With him being a big name and they fighting on that big stage, the moment being big, you really think that Tank is gonna lose in a decision? He's more favorable, he's more known, he has way more notoriety, right? He's a superstar. You think he's gonna get in there with Shakur box how he fought Edwin, and Tank
They're not gonna throw the money fighter away like that.
And it's not gonna And that's not even, that's just one of the, Shakur is, it's a lose-lose for him. It's a lose-lose. You're not going to be able to box with Tank and it's going to get.
But this is my biggest thing, y'all. Why didn't Shakur had the prime opportunity to call Gervonta Davis out and didn't do it?
He did. He said he wanted to fight
Frequent.
Tank.
I'm talking about after his fight that he just had. No, he didn't.
Facts.
Oh, you talking about after because he had a bad performance. He was addressing that.
I know that you're making my point for me. I understand that. But you can't, this is what I'm talking about, bro. You can't be talking crazy to the guy outside, say you're gonna do this and that and the third to the guy outside, say you'll beat the guy up around the corner, then you go out there and show everybody, oh, he not really like that. Now you're quiet as a mouse.
Yeah,
we all went to high
Tank fight
school.
whoever he won to fight though. Ain't nobody turning down no Tank fight. Bro, Calvin Floor had that coin flip. It landed on Shakur.
Down the Tank fight, they'd already forked the man.
The coin landed on Shakur,
there are
though.
folks turning down Tank fights. One of them is named Haney.
But the
coin flip landed on Shakur. We don't care if you beat Shakur or not. If he gonna lose, so what? We ain't protecting Shakur. Let him lose. Knock him out.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Key. Go ahead, Key.
But the thing is, sorry, Deem, and sorry, Frequent, but the thing is that I think what everybody's missing is if you're looking at the recent interviews from Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny, and how the demeanor has changed with a Shakur Stevenson, because I agree with Deem, his demeanor towards Tank has changed. One thing about it is I feel as though that fight was on the table for next year, because Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny have said they have offers out to fighters. They're just waiting for the contracts to come back signed. They continue to say that. I think one of those fights was the Shakur fight, and I think that's why they're harping on him so much. Now, this is just my belief. They're harping on him so much because he brought down the marketability of that fight, because nobody wants to see that style against a person that starts with an introduction, supporting facts, and a conclusion. That's the only thing. I think that fight happens in 2025, to be honest with you. And I think that coming up, because 2 months ago, it was one of the Garys on the ticket, on the docket. Ever since then, I don't know if Tank Team got wind of it, that came out, because that came from L-Dub Boxing, and L-Dub has been spot on since I've been watching.
The older Gary.
Yeah.
No, Loma beat.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Truth. But not just that. I think too was Gary Antoine, because if we remember Gary Antoine's last fight, he came in at 137, even though he's a 140 fighter. So that's important to know, because at first I'm like, when L-Dub said it could have been either or of those brothers, I said, why would he fight Gary Antoine? And I went and looked. His last fight was at 137. And he's always came under 140. So that wouldn't be out of touch. But ever since that got let out of the box, the person that's supposed to be fighting Tank has been kept under a lockbox. Like, they are not revealing anything. But I do believe that they were trying to set up for that Shakur fight for 2024 bout. And that performance kind of set them back a bit. So now this is the play that I think is going to happen is Loma versus Camboso in the spring or summer. And then Shakur and the winner of Loma, which is going to be Loma, because I got Loma beating Cambosos. But
stop it.
I do. Them
two
unify.
If the Emperor knocked Loma down, man.
Huh?
What?
Don't be surprised if Cambosos knock Loma down.
Oh,
he has touched the canvas before. He touched the canvas before. Tio ain't never touched the canvas before.
When has the last time that Loma has been knocked down?
When the last time what?
Do you remember what year that was?
I don't know, but I know who it was. It was Linares.
All right, let me tell you. It was 2018. And it was Linares. Right?
Yeah.
So let me put things
in
perspective.
His first fight in the division.
Wait, hold on, Truth. I got it. Let me put things in perspective for you, right? Linares touched Devin Haney 10-10, right?
Mm-hmm. Wobbled him.
He put Loma down. And after that, Loma has never been down again. Right?
Yeah, he ain't never been down again. He almost went down, though.
When Cambosos fought Teofimo, right? Teofimo was out of the ring. He had mental issues. he was on like just
We ain't
consistent
trying to hear them excuses, man. No.
in the middle and all this other shit in his lungs and this and that. Nobody cares about that, right? It
I mean,
matters
if we're
about
honest, Teofimo beat himself in that fight.
it matters about the performance, like I said. So with that being said, Teofimo has more of a chance of being dropped now because he was dropped more recently. But it's been damn near almost 6 fucking years since Lomachenko has been down. And you mean to tell me that Kambosos is
Who
gonna
has Loma fought?
Lomachenko when Lomachenko got touched by a power puncher and he got knocked down, and Kambosos can't crack an egg? Man, get the fuck out of here, frequent. Stop it.
How he put T.O. down if he
Did you
can't
see that
crack an
fight?
egg? You trying to say T.O. got a glass shit?
Did you see Maxie? Well, Sandor Martin put him down, and I don't remember Sandor
Thank you.
Martin being a power puncher.
Sandor
Maybe
Martin
he
put who
does
down?
have a glass chin when he gets lined up with people that actually can catch him in between shots. That don't mean they got to knock
Hold
out.
on. Sandor Martin put who down?
Sandor Martin put Teofimo down, bro.
Oh, Teofimo. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
was talking about Loma.
Hey
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah. So
Hey
that
y'all. Let me
Kambosos
say this,
argument
y'all.
is null and void, bro.
Let
He
me
is
say
not gonna
this,
put
y'all.
Lomachenko down, bro. No.
It come down to this, y'all. Like, I'm gonna just say this, and then I'm gonna get everybody last words because I gotta go watch my Eagles play. You hear what I'm talking about?
I'm
Y'all
watching that
already
game
know.
right now.
Yeah, I
Actually,
gotta go watch my Eagles play, y'all. I wanted to say this, y'all. I appreciate every last single one of y'all rocking with me, man, helping me build my channel. I truly appreciate all y'all, like for real, like every last single one of y'all. I wanted to say this. When it comes to Tank, it's simple as this. Why aren't these other guys calling him out? You want to be the face of boxing. You want a payday. Y'all say this is what y'all want. Make it happen with the man. Whatever you got to concede. If it ain't nothing that's going to jeopardize your health, I don't agree with the weight thing all the way because I understand that part of it. But go get y'all bag, young fellas. If y'all the best, go fight the best. It's not for the best to be seeking you. It's for you to be seeking the best. He already standing at the finish line holding the trophy, looking at y'all, looking back at y'all. Like he ran across the finish line and he just looking down, waiting for everybody to come this way. Go get the money. Because I've never seen this in boxing when everybody could say why they're not fighting the money guy. When everybody in 168 is saying you can't get somebody in 168 to name anybody else but Canelo. Fight this man. Right. Do it what you got to do to fight this man. Because Dimitri Bivol said, I'm willing to come down to 168 to fight you. He understands that he's the B-side. He understands he don't dictate anything. Terrence Crawford said Terrence Crawford is not even willing to fight Jerron Ennis and Earl Spence at 147. But you know who he would come down for and make weight for? Do you know who he would do it for? We ain't even got
Am
to
I
ask
missing
that
something
question.
here? Because I thought everybody was trying to fight Tank. Everybody mentioned Tank.
No, freaking. What I mean is everybody can act like they trying to fight Tank. I need people to actually do what Ryan Garcia did, what Rolly Romero did, because they actually tried to fight Tank. They actually promoted it. They actually, every interview they was asked on, they was calling Tank out about something and actually still staying at that weight division while they was doing it. So go make, it's not, we got to get out of this notion that it's just all on Tank to make these things happen and not more on the other guys. It's more responsibility of them. You know how you know that? Because look what David Benavidez is doing with Canelo right now. Look what David Benavidez is doing with Canelo right now. So if David Benavidez ain't making no excuses, if David Benavidez understands his position and what he's trying to accomplish, I think everybody else should. If Dimitri Bivol understand what he's trying to accomplish and what he got going on, I think everybody else should. If Jermell Charlo can go up 2 weight classes to go fight Canelo Alvarez because he understand what position he in, then I think everybody else has to do that. But I don't mind everybody loving other fighters and liking them and all that. But be honest of where your fighter is at in his career. That's all. Y'all could call Tank a duck. Y'all could say Tank don't fight nobody. Y'all could say whatever. But the fact of the matter is, he's at the apex of the sport. As long as you put that out there. The fact is, it's still on these other guys to make sure they make that fight happen with that man because he's the only person in boxing besides Canelo that you achieve everything you said you ever want by just fighting him. You want the recognition, you want the legacy, go beat Tank Davis. You want the money, go beat Tank Davis. You want all the credit, you want to be the face of boxing, knock out Gervonta Tank Davis. It'll be the most talked about thing on Twitter, on YouTube in the last 10 to 15 years if somebody knock out Gervonta Davis.
And Dean, I don't
Benavidez
even
can't
want to
get
ruin your
that. He can't even
soliloquy
get
right
that fight
now,
with Canelo though.
but
No, I get that, frequent. What I'm saying is put Gervonta in a position that Benavidez is putting Canelo in. I agree with you, frequent. But
Why? That's not
when
getting
they
him
do
to
so
fight.
much,
right,
but hold on, frequent, when they do so much capping and all the I'll stay at 140, I'll go to 135. Oh, I ain't taking this. We ain't doing that. I got fights lined up. I don't got fights. It's too much BS. David Benavidez is not coming with no BS. Do you notice that, frequent? It ain't nowhere they saying he ducking Canelo. He's saying this about Canelo. He don't even have that aura around him. You know what it looks like to everybody? Canelo, you better fight that man. Canelo, you better fight that man. Do he need David Benavidez for his legacy? That's the question. It's not if David Benavidez has been asking or want to fight. And that's why he's in a great position to get the fight.
Canelo said he don't fight Mexicans, so he not in a good position. He ain't
Yo,
getting that
frequent,
fight.
you get off out there.
He didn't say that. He ain't fighting
Hey,
him,
look,
man.
salute to y'all. I'm out of here, man.
All right, JD, appreciate you, bro.
Hey,
Hey,
salute
frequent.
Dean. Salute Truth.
Salute
Salute
to everybody.
Frequent
salute to you,
Flyer,
JD,
Bullet.
man.
And salute the beautiful Key. And y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all day and have
Hey,
a
salute to
good
you,
week.
Bullet. You ducked the smoke, but you was up here.
Hey, yo, Bullet be capping. That nigga just said in the what they said, let's see if Cambosis knocks Cam. Let's see if Tank knocks Cambosis out. Y'all saying he would?
No, Dean trying to go watch the game. That's why Bullet
Yeah,
jumped off.
but y'all saying it don't
Y'all
mean
trying to say
nothing.
Bullet ducking, man. He ain't duck.
Yo, hold
Nah,
on, hold on,
Bullet
hold
ain't
on,
ducking
hold on.
smoke.
Let me say
Bullet
something.
was on
Nah,
here
I'm gonna
for a
call him
while.
a duck, and I
Hey,
don't
listen,
care if
listen. Hold on. Let
he
me
trying to
finish
watch the
before
game.
y'all go. So y'all got it. But look, if Tank knocks out Cambosis, then that means that he put on a better performance than both Teofimo and Devin Haney because he got him the fuck out of there. That's what that means. All right, that's all I got to say, man.
Absolutely,
Y'all,
absolutely,
y'all
All right,
salute. That's
JD.
all I had to say. Y'all be
My
good.
brother, man. Appreciate you,
absolutely.
bro.
Salute, man.
Salute, salute. Be good. I'll see y'all again.
Go ahead, frequent. Holla at me.
Yeah, I just want to say salute to everybody on the panel. Salute to you, man. I ain't gonna say too much. Let you go ahead and watch the game. You know what I'm saying? And salute to everybody in the chat.
Yo, frequent, I appreciate you coming to rock with me, bro. You already know we barely agree on anything, but I love talking boxing with you, my guy. Thank you.
No doubt.
Truth, holla at me, baby. What's up, my guy?
See, hey, Demon, I rock with everything you said except for this one point, and this is probably the only point of contention we gonna have. Is Tank is all this and more, and all these guys ain't doing it. But what happens to the one that Tank has called out and is still continually ducking?
Here you go.
Because Deem, I believe Tank did say that one guy's name on his list and has yet to do anything as far as a fight. Tank has a history with this certain guy. He that shall not be named. He that reigns above all in the lightweight division.
Oh my God.
Lomachenko. Tank energy with all these other fighters. Can we at least acknowledge that it's not the same when it comes to Loma?
I will be honest and say that Gervonta doesn't have the biggest interest when it comes to Loma, but I think he will fight him. But I agree with you. He don't. But Loma don't talk trash, so I think that plays a part too, though. True.
But you got to think Loma don't talk trash, and Loma called Tank out.
Truth. We're not getting into this, man.
Nah, man, but no, it was good cook, man. I was surprised when I seen you on YouTube. I was like, man, let me go ahead and hop on here. But you got a thing going, man.
Man, truth, man. It's because of you, people like you, man, that gave me the motivation to do it, bro. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna get way more organized, more professional. Start letting everybody know prior, putting up little, when it's going to drop and everything, so y'all know what's going on. But I love talking boxing with y'all, for real, for real.
100%. And salute to the queen. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube chats, but you got a line of suitors waiting for you. But nah, I'm out of here.
All right, Truth. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Key, talk to me. What's up?
Salute to you, Dame. Anytime I see that you go live, I try to support, make sure that I'm here because I truly believe in what you're doing and I want to see you win. Shout out to the panel that was up here, 2 Cents Bullet, Frequent Truth, the rest of y'all, Chris Trucker, JD. We do have different point of views, but I love talking boxing with y'all. Like this is so much fun. I want to say this, going off of what Dean was saying. I will end before I watch the 49ers and the Philly game while doing homework. But um, the biggest thing that I want everybody to realize is that Tank just did 1.4 million with Ryan Garcia, and not only did he just do that, but it catapulted Tank into a different stratosphere. So no matter who he fights, even if he's going to be disregarded, about the level of competition, it's going to sell out even more.
Absolutely.
And I want to put the pressure on Devin for his next fight. Although I haven't beaten Regis, if it's not a good performance, we get a mixed reviews for Ryan Garcia, and we got bad reviews for Shakur. Tank can get in there with a llama, 2 pit bulls, a cat, and a iguana. But they're not going to care because the roars are going to be so loud for Tank to get in there and fight, because if Devin Haney does not perform. So I just want y'all to really realize that Tank is in a different stratosphere. To Dank Father, Mayweather did not only fight Hispanics. Mayweather fought Zab Judah. Mayweather fought Shane Mosley. And there was another gentleman too. So stop saying that that Tank is taking after. Yes, stop saying that Mayweather is only fighting, that only fought Hispanics. That's not true. And Tank will see those guys. It's only a matter of time. I believe that Tank clocks up out of here between the age of 34 or 33 to 35. And by that time, count me saying it to this day, Tank will go down as one of the greatest lightweights to ever do it. And truth, Loma Tank gets Loma up out of there between 7 and 9. I'm out, Dean.
I appreciate you, Keith. Thank you so much for showing me love always. Everything that you're doing in these YouTube streets. This is a lot of motivation, and I appreciate all y'all. So thank you, Keith. Hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Listen here, man. We gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep having a place for y'all to come talk this boxing thing. And I think I want to do it a little different than other channels. I think I just want to do open panels when I go live. I can make my individual videos, and they've been doing very good. But when I go live, this is where you come talk your stuff and get everything off your chest. Y'all already know. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for rocking with me. Everybody, every last single one of y'all, even when y'all don't agree with me, that's what makes it fun. That's what make it fun. So like I said, man, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you got other people that love boxing, tell them to come holler at Deem and come get it off their chest, because we talk about it all over here. Thank y'all, and I'm going to holler at y'all, all right?